It's the savings all month long. Baby, can't you see? Maytag month is all you need. You know you can't go wrong when Maytag month is going on.
Upgrade to the performance you need on all Maytag major appliances during May is Maytag month, happening all month long.
Maytag month is going on.
The early game with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
I appreciate the fact that Preston won the race because he had Logano, so he had the win. And we didn't open the show with, I'm a champion. I am so good. I'm a pro.
You got to work on that.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Listen, it's a long season, Bill. It's a quiet confidence.
Did he take the lead?
He did.
Proud of you, man. I feel like I've brought you into the show.
And no offense,
and
but it also just goes to show you don't have to know NASCAR to pick a winner.
Jen's so angry. Like, you're going to see, she loves you right now, but that's going to change.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Rise and shine on a Thursday morning, 1 day away from the early game being the really, really early game. Are you two ready for tomorrow morning and what all entails getting down to Darlington to kick off one of the great sporting weekends in our state? Are you prepared for this? Because tomorrow morning we will be live from Darlington Raceway getting ready for the Goodyear 400 this coming weekend, Preston.
The earlier game. The earliest game.
The most ridiculously early game.
Actually, big difference in stages of life, because I assume as a show we're going to come up with what time we're leaving. We're getting to that, but the time that we're leaving, is that early or is that late?
Yes, it's early.
Is that what stage of life we're in right now?
I'm at that point in life where I'm going to go to bed early.
Yeah.
If I was a stay up kind of guy, yeah, then I would say we're leaving exceptionally late. No, not a stay up guy anymore. I'm already preparing. We're gonna.
Yeah, we're not staying up at the bar, and then just heading out.
That's what I'm saying. I think this time of day that you have to leave at 3 to 4 o'clock can either be early or late, depending on your station in life.
Yeah.
And I'm firmly in this is early.
It's going to be early. Yeah, we're going to get up bright and early in the morning, head on down to Arlington, get there, get set up. Jen's going down today to do all the prep work.
Mm-hmm.
Probably drive a car, get in the pits down there, get in the shop, and help somebody fix up their car.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I'll offer some advice. So she'll have us nice and ready to arrive down there. But yeah, that will be tomorrow morning. DC does have the good idea, because tomorrow morning is going to be a little bit of a learning experience for, I think, all three of us, because typically by the time we get here, we've all had time to kind of maybe drive quietly in a little bit of silence, kind of find a little bit of your rhythm for the morning. I'm picking up Jen, or Jen's picking up me. One of us is getting in the car with each other within about 15 minutes of the initial start. Like, you get up, brush teeth. If you want to eat something, drink a little coffee. Jen and I will, because we don't live far from each other, we'll be in the car together very quickly in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Any rough nights of sleep, any bad dreams, any just lingering feelings that are around at about 3:15 will be shared with one another. The wrong word could be said. By the time we arrive to pick up Preston down here, Jen could have already put me in a headlock. I could have thrown coffee on her. It could be a very interesting trip down. Then we pick you up. You're still going to be trying to figure out what state you're in, where you're at. And then we drive an hour and a half. And DC on our live stream says we also do a live road show on the way to Darlington.
Ooh.
That's right. when you start singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall, and yeah, it's going to be brutal. So we're going to do that. We'll, do our thing, and we might do a few things after the show. And then I get to drive to Charlotte later that afternoon to go get my mother-in-law at the airport. So yay me. Woo.
So we've got a big day planned for tomorrow, but we're going to get through this show first. And coming up at about 8:30 this morning, we're going to catch up with one of NASCAR's top drivers, AJ Allmendinger, will be joining us, currently sitting 26th in the points race there in the Cup Series. Allmendinger, the professional stock car racing driver, competes obviously on the NASCAR Series in the number 16. Jen, I did just learn this myself as I'm reading his bio. What car does he drive? Do you know? Does Jen have any idea? They might all be this. It's a Chevrolet.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It says Chevrolet Camaro ZL1.
Oh, okay. As far as the specific model, I thought you were looking for sponsors.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep. So we're get ready for that. That's coming up at 8:30 this morning. In between now and then, we'll get into a little bit of baseball. South Carolina looking to get back on the just get back into any kind of rhythm coming up, and they have a very difficult task that they're going to have to do it on the road in Fayetteville, Arkansas, against the number 3 Arkansas Razorbacks. One note to pass along: D1 baseball yesterday. The website I tend to use more here on this show, Preston, they put out their field of 64 projections yesterday. First time you've seen what I would say is a significant movement from South Carolina during this losing streak. South Carolina a few weeks ago was as high as the number 3 overall seed, which would have had them as a national seed, would have hosted a regional and a super regional. Unfortunately, yesterday, after this losing streak, South Carolina drops now to a number 10 national seed, which means you'd host the regional. And just for fun, to tell you, D1 baseball has North Carolina, Iowa, South Carolina, and Maine all projected in this particular field of 64 coming to Columbia. South going to be matched up currently with the West Virginia regional, the Morgantown regional. So that would kind of be who South going to be staring across the table at should they be able to get out of their regional. So West Virginia, South Carolina now no longer a national seed, would be going on the road for supers.
That's fair. I think that's fair, given their performance for the past week and a half, 2 weeks, I guess. That sounds about right. They're still securing the games at home to initially start. And I know it's an advantage to be locked in a home field advantage all the way through, but I think getting those first couple of games at home, being able to move on from that, they're still in a solid position. However, as you stated to start that whole sentence, they need to get right this weekend.
Not the right weekend. It's going to be a very, very difficult task this weekend, but hopefully South Carolina kind of can employ that win anyway mentality, next man up mentality. We'll talk a little bit about that. Want to get into a little bit of football this morning. Preston, I kind of started to venture down a little bit of a path yesterday, and we were talking about South Carolina's, I guess, schedule really for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Going home, getting a little break. I kind of want a former player's perspective on this time of the year, getting away, because this is it really. Out of the 12 months a year, I guess this is really the one time. If you don't go to a bowl game, I guess maybe December is the other time, but this is the 1 month that these players can maybe get away from football, especially the way it's played in 2023, the way, or I should say the way it's run with, voluntary. They're still, June and July are still technically, I believe, voluntary workouts.
Oh, they've come up with a new word, Bill. Player-led practices.
Okay. Yeah.
What are these?
So we'll let Preston go down. And Preston's got some interesting takes also on early enrollees. Just obviously we've seen the uptick in that. So we'll get into that a little bit this morning, along with a few other things. A fun night in the playoffs. Golden State last night able to kind of hold on and keep the series or keep it competitive there. They win 121-106 last night, 3-2 now the Lakers lead.
If you listen to this show, we see the show as a continuum, and we didn't stamp it with I told you so, but 2 things happened in that game yesterday that were very much I told you so's from the early game.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on to that one. Mm-hmm. Hold on to that one. We'll get into a little bit of that one as well. So a lot to get to this morning. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, 803-404-6100 is how you can join us on the Firehouse Subs text line or on the Love Chevy phone lines, where I've already gotten Chris weighing in. I believe that's Root Hog. Somebody has just officially put his name in correctly because he says, prayers up, Gamecock Larry. Check out of Lexington Medical Center ASAP. We're going to be okay. Gamecock Larry's lovely daughter Tanya weighing in this morning on our live stream, saying good morning from little Gamecock Tanya from the hospital with Gamecock Larry. And on the phone lines, not to be held down by a trip to the hospital, ready to call in live from Lexington Medical Center, where I'm sure he's getting great help and support and all the things he needs to bounce back. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling all right, but Andy the Hog called me from Arkansas about 4:30, but I was laying here. I was awake because I answered that phone, and I got to talk to him a minute, and he said they gonna sweep us. But you know what's gonna happen? The Gamecocks went down, and I really believe, well, they got to win 5 out of 6. Well, they're going to sweep one of these teams, and I hope it's Tennessee, and we're going to win the series in Arkansas. So that'll give us a pretty good chance. We might move back up a number in the top 8, but no problem. I just want to see them go to the College World Series. That's all. Another thing, that women's softball, I watched a little bit of that yesterday afternoon before I had to press that button and call 911. And I didn't know they was going to bring me up here, but that's where I'm at. But everything's going to be all right. And the tennis team, they going in the finals, I think. And the golf team is going to the finals. So we're going to be okay. But I got my research committee head, Dr. Macon, yesterday check something out for me. I was listening to another station, and a Clemson station, and they was talking about the ACC and the SEC. Well, I got them to pull up a record or something for me, and in the ACC, they have won 2 national championships. Wake Forest in 1955, Virginia in 2015, I think it was, a 16. And the Gamecocks has won the same amount as the ACC has. I ain't worried about the ACC, but I love all of y'all, and I'll be okay. But you know what, Bill? They won't give me no coffee.
Oh.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I ought to have 2 cups of coffee by now. But I love all y'all, and take care. Everything's going to be okay. Go Gamecocks.
There you go. He sounds a very chipper Gamecock Larry, and doing it all without the assistance of coffee this morning. But Preston, I'm smart enough not to overrule doctors and nurses at Lexington Medical Center. They've taken care of me and my family before. Probably not my place to get on the radio and start barking and saying, get that old Gamecock Larry some coffee. It might not be. Let's just let the doctors and nurses do their thing so they can get him out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, one day off from coffee and liver pudding. We good. Not today. Not today.
Yeah. Do what they tell you, big guy, and we get you out there back revved up and going here in the relatively near future. Yeah, South Carolina yesterday, women's softball team, good day for them. They knock off Texas A&M in extra innings. They'll get Georgia today in the next round of the SEC women's softball tournament. 1-0 victory yesterday for them. And Gamecock Larry mentioned the golf team, the women's golf team. Yes, the number 4 seed. They are heading off to another NCAA championship as they will get ready, taking down host Georgia to finish second and earn a 3rd straight championship to the national championship at Greyhawk. So congratulations to the women's golf team. They're actually ranked 4th. I said they were the number 4 seed, but they were ranked 4th and heading back to the NCAA championship for the 3rd straight season. So a good job by them. They finished 2nd in the Athens regional. So as Gamecock Larry said, certainly some good things going on in the world of South Carolina athletics. We'll talk a little bit about the baseball program when we come back and get into some football as well. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She is Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles.
Coach K just can't stay away, folks, and understandably so. Mike Krzyzewski is joining the NBA as a special advisor to the league and its teams. Sounds like a classic win-win situation to me, folks, for the winningest coach in men's college basketball history. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Is your check engine light on? Let our professional parts people scan and diagnose the problem for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Got a take? Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line. Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen. 803-404-6100. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome at the end of your first year. They automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Lexington Medical Center is hosting an all-star hiring event. If you want to join their team, come see them at Sacred Park on Friday, May 19th. They're offering on-site interviews and special game day sign-on bonuses. Schedule an appointment at lexmed.com/jobs.
Hi, I'm Glenn Matthews.
And I'm Melanie Matthews.
And we are the third generation owners of Modern Exterminating Company.
In a time when corporate consolidation, high-pressure door knockers, and inexperienced startups are becoming the norm, isn't it nice to have an experienced, local, family-owned company that you can count on since 1955?
Modern Exterminating has been the local, independent industry leader in the pest control business for the last 67 years. Experience the local, family-owned difference for yourself at 803-765-2315 or pestfreesc.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years of NASCAR gone by. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine it. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, May 12th through the 14th. Get your tickets today at darlingtonraceway.com.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pigs Barbecue. Full-service dine-in buffet with barbecue ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pigs Barbecue on Alpine Road is open from 11 to 2 on Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pigs Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pigs family looks forward to seeing you soon.
If you've seen them, you need to call me. Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. If you're seeing weeds in your yard, let Midlands Landscape help you get rid of them. When you sign up for our Midlands Green Treatment Program, our lawn experts will give your turf the fertilization it needs while conquering the weeds, ensuring that your lawn will be green and lush. So give us a try. Midlands Landscape and Lawns. Schedule an appointment today at hateweeds.com. That's hateweeds.com.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert Traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure again you keep checking back, might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert Traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game.
During the break, Jen, Preston and I were discussing, tomorrow morning and everything, and I was kind of making the comment that, maybe just drive on down tonight and sleep in the back of my car.
Oh.
And I was telling him, and I was telling Preston, down in Darlington, they're underway. What is it? You could go and start camping, I believe, Tuesday afternoon, right? Like you could get down there and get your camp set up. I was trying to look on the Darlington website because I know Carrie Tharp has talked about it. Like I think it is tonight. I think it's Thursday that they're doing the movie on the infield. They've got the double feature tonight, which is, I know I've heard Carrie say this. It's the movie Cars, and then it's also Days of Thunder, which is airing tonight. So I was trying to look at
That would be really cool to watch that in the middle of a track.
Yeah, I was trying to look and just see on their website if they had the breakdown, because there's a lot. I heard Carrie give the breakdown. They've got a lot of just little events for people that go down there and go ahead and get stationed, get set up on Tuesday. I know you've talked about it a little bit. You can kind of walk through everything and check out what's kind of going on, kind of get yourself ready. Yeah. I know I've talked to people. I know Patrick kind of talked a little bit about it, that it's kind of like football season with your season tickets. There are people down there that have been going and camping for years, and you kind of reunite with family members that maybe you've all had the same spots on the infield for 20 or 25 years, and you do this each and every week. So it's already a party down there. I know it's only Thursday morning at 6:23 for some of those people, Preston. It's probably late right now.
That could very well be.
I understand. I understand. If they understand the assignment properly, then yes, it is late right now. There's probably a few who have bowed out. A couple who have just mentioning that, the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
Guess we got to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and that sounds like a good time.
Yeah,
I'm not prepared for that very much anymore, but I have seen days like that.
Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun. We'll be down there at Darlington coming up first thing in the morning. So when you wake up and tune in to us, you'll be hearing us live from Darlington as we celebrate NASCAR's 75th anniversary with the Throwback Weekend. This is really one of the cool events that not only is in sport, but is in the state of South Carolina as we get you ready for the Goodyear 400, 3 o'clock on Sunday. So Preston and I were just talking about Mother's Day and trying to get everything done, get everything set up for all the great mothers out there. And then maybe about 3 o'clock, you can nestle in on the couch or curl up with the rest of the family and be able to hang out and watch the 400 there coming up. 803-404-6100. Anonymous texter does say 6 p.m. the double feature starts. So yeah, that's tonight. So if you were going down, you could get in that infield and check out.
And truly, it is a full weekend of racing because you have the Truck Series on Friday, then you have the Xfinity race on Saturday, and then the premier event on Sunday. So there's no shortage of things to do.
No, that's so you get down there, you get set up on you can move in. I think you can come in on Tuesday. Wednesdays, maybe your kind of setup day. Today, you're fully fledged, ready to party. And then tomorrow the racing starts. And again, we will be down there bright and early tomorrow morning. 803-404-6100. Want to go back. So this D1 baseball projection field. Now I'm big. We didn't do it this year because South Carolina really wasn't involved. And I just didn't really have the energy to get invested in bracketology. But normally Joe Lenardi's bracketology, I'm totally involved in. I'm looking at matchups in the second round. I'm looking at teams that can make runs. D1 baseball, really good. It's probably, I think, the best website out there with how they go about handling things. One thing to note here, Clemson has moved all the way up to a number 11 national seed. So you have South Carolina at 10. You have Clemson now hosting as they have been scorching hot of late. Clemson in this projection by D1 baseball would be matched up with fellow ACC team Duke. Duke is the number 6 national seed. Clemson would be the number 11 national seed. But, Clemson's made a lot of strides now to where that that series win over them back during March. Maybe at the time you said, okay, it's our rival. We won it. That's great. Now you look at it and go, that's just another quality series win that South Carolina can have on their resume, as Clemson would be projected by D1 Baseball to host Campbell, Georgia, and Davidson in their regional if things were to continue to play out in the path that they're heading.
And I did see them beat Coastal last night. Is that correct?
I'll confirm
I believe they beat Coastal last night. Seems as if they're sort of, I don't know if peaking is the right word, but they're definitely on a trajectory up, whereas we are trying to stop the free fall, I should say. And and that just goes to show how a baseball season, how long a baseball season can actually last, because I don't frequent the Tiger messages boards, but from what I was seeing, a lot of people were unhappy with the baseball squad, and they were, going through the typical fan behavior of we shouldn't have hired this guy and blah, 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 and all of those types of things. And now, given it time, they seem to have gotten on the right track. So for them to be at this point in the season where they are is a testament to them sort of staying the course. And as I said, we have to get it corrected this weekend. Unfortunately, it's a tough one to get it corrected with.
Clemson did win last night, knocks off Coastal Carolina 13-6 is the final in that game. Looks like by and large last night, as I scrolled through the scoreboard, the top 25 all with a very solid night of action. It doesn't look like any major upsets as I kind of just go through and look. In the SEC, only one game last night, Georgia, a 9-2 victory over USC Upstate. As far as this baseball team, when you get the injuries, when you get the kind of, I go back to your playing days and ask from your experience, when you have this and now this big time opponent is coming up, Arkansas is number 3, but you're a good team. You're just dealing with injuries. Where does the rallying cry again come from? Is this something Mark Kingston gets his teams together, maybe like Lou Holtz did, and gives some kind of great motivational speech? Or does it come from experienced players? Can injured players like a Braylon Wimmer or even a Noah Hall step in front of the team and say, kind of, guys, you got to, I know I'm not a part of it this weekend because I'm injured. Where does kind of that motivation or the motivational speech come from? Or is there none? It's just, hey, we're a good team. We've fallen on hard times. We got to get back to it.
So let's work backwards. The injured players, with these specific players being very key parts of the team, they can give a rallying cry of sort of like, hold on, the cavalry's coming. Just get us through this as we get healthy. We're going to be fine. You know that. The coaches can give the same sort of speech, but the most important part of what you said was making sure everybody still understands that we're a quality team. We're going through a phase right now. This is less like who we are than who we've been throughout the year. And who we are right now does not have to determine the rest of the year. So it's convenient, but I won't go as far as saying it's a scapegoat, but it's very convenient that a reason why they're losing is that there are injuries. It would be a lot worse if this was just happening straight up and there were no injuries. So everybody still has something to fall back on and say, well, when we get healthy, things are going to change.
The one thing about that is the pitching. That's where you do have some injuries, but at the same time, guys like Will Sanders has been healthy and has really struggled. That's going to be the one thing that you really look at this week, because this pitching, again, got banged up pretty good there in Kentucky.
So let me put a positive spin on that. Let's put a positive. Unfortunately, Will Sanders has not been what everybody wanted him to be this year. Obviously, Will Sanders included. I'm sure if you asked him, this is not what he had envisioned for this season. That being said, the team has played well with this pitching all year. And so it's not as if the pitching has all of a sudden taken a dip. This is kind of what they've been all year. So even all of that being said, they still have an opportunity to get the bats back hot and go back to what they've been. It's not as if Will Sanders just got into a slump. So if there was a way you could spin it, that's something that you could take out of it.
803-404-6100. When we come back, Preston had a NBA playoff I told you so moment last night.
Listen, man, if you listen to this show, we might have gave you a glimpse into the future of that game last night.
We may have told the Lakers and the Warriors. Warriors win 121-106, and the Warriors now down just 3-2 in that series as they try to make a comeback. And then on our on our Firehouse Subs text line, Rooster P, a man very much ingrained. He's never been shy about sharing NASCAR-related items, whether it's picking on me. He says, morning from Kentucky. The museum next to the track in Darlington, pretty cool. I have some pretty cool memories of Darlington. I'm glad he remembers them. I would think some of his days down there, he might have woke up with the memories of the night before a little foggy, a little hazy.
Also, I would like to do maybe a quick Cars 3 review. Not Cars 1.
Is Cars 3 out?
Cars 3.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendous.
Did it?
Yeah, there was a girl who is the lead driver.
Sure. When did this come out? Is it?
Fantastic.
It's from 2017.
It's been a few
so
years
good.
ago.
So we don't have to play anything where no spoilers alert. If it's
no spoilers,
May 23rd of 2017 is the release date. So when it's almost 6 years old, 7 years old, yeah, we could do something with no spoilers involved. We'll do that. We'll have the I told you so moment. Get into a few other things as well. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game. I want to 7-5 the game.
We appreciate you listening to 107.5 The Game. And because you are a loyal listener, you might have noticed the last few weeks that the game hasn't sounded as strong coming through your speakers. Or you all of a sudden can't pick up the station in certain places around the Midlands. Well, a few weeks ago, our main transmitter was damaged during a storm. It'll still be a few more weeks until we get the parts to have it fixed. So, if you're having issues listening to 107.5 The Game, we encourage you to go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and download our app. In a couple of clicks, you'll be hearing the game loud and clear. Thanks again for your patience and for listening to 107.5 The Game.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Have you noticed that most ice creams now come in smaller cartons? Not Bluebell. We're still making a full half-gallon and a full pint of tasty goodness. Bluebell wouldn't have it any other way.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell half gallons, specially priced $5.99 when buying 2 at all Kroger's now through May 16th.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Packers quarterback Jordan Love addressed the media Wednesday and talked about his approach to taking over as the team's starter under center. Love said it's an exciting time and that he can now step up and be more vocal, knowing he's the guy and not the backup. Love added, quote, "I've always been a believer in myself. I believe in my arm talent, and I like to make plays." The NFL is heading back to Germany in 2023. The league revealed its slate of international games for the upcoming season, including 2 contests set for November in a new German city, Frankfurt. The international slate starts week 4 when the Falcons and Jags face off in the first of 3 games in London. And be sure to join hosts Rich Eisen and Colleen Wolfe, along with analysts Maurice Jones-Drew and Emmanuel Sanders on NFL Network tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for the 2023 NFL Schedule Release Show presented by Verizon. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $16. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey, everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure, again, you keep checking back. Might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
What we're talking about on 1075 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. They'll come to you and they'll give you a free quote. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come out to your location, replace it for you, usually for free. And they'll work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. As you hear me say all the time, if you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. Now, Bill, speaking of Mr. Glass.
Okay.
Speaking of Unbreakable. Speaking of maybe Glass Joe or Glass AD, as we might call him. Bill, we told you so. If we were talking about the NBA playoffs, we said it all depends on whether or not AD can go more than one game without getting injured. And what do you know, Bill? Mr. Glass himself, Mr. I will be shattered, cracked, and broken, Mr. AD left the game yesterday with a head injury.
Now, it should be noted, he did play 32 minutes. You said it. He left mid to late fourth quarter there, played 32 minutes. He was 10 of 18 from the field. He was playing well.
Yes, he was.
23 points, 9.
We got the whole Anthony Davis package.
But he did get popped on the side of the head.
Yes.
And then if you've seen the highlights this morning, looked very sad very sad. And then there's the video of him leaving the arena after the game, again, looking very sad, sunglasses on and everything.
Yes. And yes, there is possibilities that he might have percussive symptoms. We get it. We understand. However, it just always happens to this guy. It always happens.
Where is the line for a player in playing through it and helping your team and being too injured to help your team? Because I do it. It's like it. We had our AAU basketball practice last night. We got 10 kids, 11 kids, I think, 10 kids. And they had a good practice last night. They were very, this is not injury related, but they were very active. We're working on playing faster at 10-year-old at that age. And one of the things I told them after practice, I said, hey, we got 10 kids. We got 10 of y'all. Go into the game, play as fast as you can, play as hard as you can, and we'll get you out with sub. Where in sports, where do you notice is the line in helping your team when you're too, or playing through being tired? Because we're supposed to be a society, just like you're talking about of Anthony Davis, like, tough it out, big guy. Let's go rub some dirt on it. Get back in there. Yeah, you're tired. That's what we do conditioning for. Come on, fight through it. Where, as a former athlete, do you find, or a former collegiate athlete, do you find the line in, all right, that's good. You got a little bump on the head. You're seeing triple vision here. Just go sit on the bench. Or, hey, man, you got bumped on the head. Let's play through this one. We're in this game. We can close out the series. We're going to need you to toughen up a tad.
Everything is dependable, and everything's relative. We get that. We understand that. But I think we as South Carolina fans, we had, unfortunately, I'm about to dredge up a bad memory for us. University of Kentucky.
Yeah, old JoJo Kemp.
JoJo Kemp ran the ball 50 times in a row, was begging to come out of the game, and his coaches said, you're going back in, sir. And he went back in, and he continued to score and run up and down our throats. So, yes, there's obviously a point where you as the coach, you have to make a value judgment and say, all right, you need to come out because you're tired. But then there's also points as a player where you kind of have to suck it up. And I look for that a lot of times, especially when I'm watching defensive line, because they'll give the subtle, they'll tap the helmet. And I will say this. I saw a player tap his helmet in 2 very crucial times last year. It was a drive going into the end zone in the second half of the game. This player is no longer with us. He's transferred to the West Coast.
Oh.
And this player tapped his helmet it wasn't in an end goal series, but it was the team was obviously going in to score, and we needed this player on the field.
Right.
And he tapped his helmet and jogged off the field. And 1, I couldn't believe he did it. And 2, I couldn't believe the coaches let him do it. It was fascinating to me. And I saw that a couple of times from the defensive line where I thought, how can you take yourself out in this part of the game? And then the second part, how do you feel like you have the freedom to take yourself out in this point in the game? So this is interesting.
Where does that, in a football game, where does that mentality come from? Does it come from something you were trained or coached by, say, your high school coach who, you had some that were great. You had some that were just disciplinarians and I say kind of ran it as a boot camp. Does it come from your parents? Does it come from you just being a player saying, I'm going to step up and make a play?
It definitely comes from yourself. You want to be in the game to make a play. And I was laughing as he talked about your defensive line coach being running it as a boot camp. My defensive line coach in high school, shout out to Coach McCurry. He literally coached with combat boots on.
Okay, yeah.
No shirt, combat boots on, very snug shorts. He rode a motorcycle.
It's quite the visual right there of the defensive line coach in Somerville.
Shout out to Comp. And it just was
not a mullet or anything with that too, because depending on the hairstyle, the snug shorts, no shirt.
I believe we might have caught him past his mullet stage, but I can't say that a mullet was not involved. But shout out to you, Coach McCurry. You're one of my favorite, man. Big influence on my life. But I could definitely see him typecast as the 80s jock, the bad guy in a movie.
Okay.
Just bumping people in the lockers and stuff like that. He's definitely that dude. But yeah, it came from him. He was the one that instilled that in me, as in you're just not coming out. That's not even a thought that you would have. And sometimes some players, you might be better off saying, hey, you know what? When this guy gets tired, there's nothing to him. Maybe he should come out. But I did notice that a couple of times last year where I thought the defensive line would just take themselves out of opportunities where we needed those players to make a play.
Alan weighs in on the Firehouse Subs text line. I think what he means is it's time to come out when you hold up 2 fingers. You ask the player how many, and the player says Wednesday. That's when it's time to go.
Also, here's the part where it can get bad, though. And this is from a personal life experience. I was coaching one year, and I've taken on I'm going to be like Coach McCurry. No, you're not coming out the game. And I had a player who was tapping his helmet. He tapped his helmet on first down. Stay in the game. He starts tapping a little bit more. Stay in. Third time, he's like banging on his head, giving himself a concussion. I'm like, all right, man, get out. He runs straight by me, straight to the locker room because he had to use the restroom. And he said that he barely made it.
A little bit of communication would have helped. Maybe he was tapping. Maybe he should have been tapping the helmet.
yeah. Or he should have held up a number 2 sign, maybe like I gotta go. So yeah, that was I learned a little bit in that instance. I saw how violent he was tapping his helmet. Oh, this is different. Something's going on. So yeah, maybe you do have to take your player out.
It is, you get into the playoffs like this, and Anthony Davis certainly again last night. He goes out with 7 minutes 43 seconds to go. The game was still in doubt. The Lakers could have made a run. The Warriors end up getting it done. No, the Warriors are still a really good team. Steph Curry last night, 27 points, 8 assists. You go into the Klay Thompson thing last night? The Klay Thompson thing that we've kind of discussed a little bit last night, obviously doesn't have a particularly good game. 3 for 11 on Monday night. and it was the 8th time that he scored. It was the 8th time in his 150 postseason games that he scored in single digits. 3 of those previous 7 came before Steve Kerr became coach.
Wow.
Last night he missed his first 4 shots and 6 of his first 7. He did make it to 10 last night, but now you got a game in single digits and you got a game with 10 for Klay Thompson. It is interesting because it feels like he's 33 years of age, and I had that conversation with you and Heath yesterday. It feels like, yeah, the injuries have now caught him.
Absolutely. And again, this is no disparagement on Klay in his career because he's been phenomenal, but I think it's just sort of caught up to him. And that team is really difficult for that team to reach the heights that they want to reach if Klay Thompson's not shooting at least better. He doesn't have to go back to being Splash Brothers. That's probably not going to ever happen again, but he has to be better for that for them to make a run.
803-404-6100. We will get into some football in the next hour, talk a little more NASCAR because of the huge race. Big race will be down in Darlington tomorrow morning, getting you ready for that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 107.5 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Right now is the time to make that move on a brand new heating and air unit. You don't want the Columbia summer to sneak up on you. The next thing you know, it's 95 plus degrees out there. You've been working hard all day. You come home only to discover that the heating and air unit is out at your house, and your home, just like outside, is close to 90 degrees. Call AAA Heating and Air today and find out how you can save up to $5,300, all because of the Inflation Reduction Act. That's right. Right now, you can get tax credits of up to $3,800 because of the Inflation Reduction Act. And on top of that, AAA Heating and Air starts every deal by offering you a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit. $3,800 plus $1,500 is a nice $5,300 savings that you can take advantage of. And on top of all that, AAA Heating and Air offers you a 15-year parts and labor warranty to go along with great financing options. That's right. For qualified buyers, you can even get 0% financing. So call a comfort advisor today at AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500. You can schedule your free estimate. So make that phone call, 803-677-1500. That's how you can get in touch with the comfort advisors at AAA Heating and Air today to get that free estimate. So don't wait any longer. 803-677-1500. That's AAA Heating and Air. Call them today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Sponsored by TrainInfo.com. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
I'm proud to work for Volvo Cars because we're helping build a safer, more sustainable future for everyone. My name is Tamara Thompson. I'm from South Carolina, born and raised in Sumter. I'm a quality launch supervisor at the Volvo Cars plant in Ridgeville. I'm helping build the new Volvo EX90 here. At Volvo Cars, people are at the center. We feel supported, recognized, and feel like we can grow our careers. And we're hiring. Apply now at readysc.org/Volvo.
No manufacturing experience required. Must be 18 years or older with a high school diploma or GED.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits, like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4585. $4,000.
Hi, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers with an important reminder for all you guys out there. Sunday, May 14th is Mother's Day. Is there anyone more important in your life than your mom or your wife? Whether you want to show your appreciation for all the wonderful things your mom did for you, or you'd like to communicate your love to that amazing woman who bore your children, there's no better way to express your affection to the fabulous women in your life than with a gift of jewelry. Mother's Day gifts come in all sizes and price ranges in our stores, like sterling silver jewelry starting at just $19.99, or half-carat total weight diamond studs, just $3.99. Or how about a 1-carat lab-grown diamond starting at just $14.99? That's right. No matter what your budget is, we've got you covered. Count on leaving Traditions Fine Jewelers with exactly the right gift for that special mom in your life. Only at Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington, on Sunset, and in Sand Hills next to the Fountain, South Carolina's diamond superstore and customization destinations, where the Midlands get engaged.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TIGER to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TIGER to 321-321. That's TIGER to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Sponsored by Express Employment Professionals. Take the stress out of your job search. Visit expresspros.com for jobs from a variety of industries. With more than 860 locally owned offices, the Express team is ready to help you find your next job. Go to expresspros.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure, again, you keep checking back. Might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
6:54 on a Thursday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and Donnie on our Firehouse Subs text line is trying to take us here. Trying to be all professional. We're trying to do some sports talk, break down some baseball, talk a little NASCAR, get into a little football, and this is where Donnie wants to take us. Cars 2 is the worst sequel ever made.
Very possible. That's very possible. And I will say I've never seen Cars 2.
Because it went all international and I don't know.
So you're saying they brought it back around with Cars 3? They got themselves together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It Mater was kind of the center point, a little bit of Cars 2, which is great, but it went all international and stuff. But I think Cars 3 kind of got back to the basics.
Got back to the basics, fundamentals. I would say Cars 3 was tremendous. It was one of those movies that I saw, not expecting much out of it, and then when I got into it, I was like, oh, this is way better than I anticipated.
It's just sad that I'm now Wikipediaing all the Cars movies to figure out which ones. So wait, so was the original Cars the one where he gets stuck in the desert and has to fix the road?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize we were 3 into this thing. I've missed everything else. It just goes to show you.
Yeah.
I
No, that was the first one.
was under the impression that was the second Cars.
No, that's how we got introduced to Lightning McQueen and how his heart changed, and he
That's
wasn't
right.
just all
That's where
self-centered.
Mater became a bigger part. So Cars 3, Preston, the overall, it's a thumbs up.
Very much. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Enjoyed it very much. It was kind of Lightning McQueen was reaching the end of his time, and there was a new young gunner in town, and had all kinds of new engines, but they did a great job with it.
Okay, there you go. There's a breakdown of a movie 6 years ago. Hopefully we didn't spoil it for you.
Well done.
Hour 2 is on the way.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is defensive lineman Alex Huntley, and you're listening to Home of the Gamecocks 107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station.
It's your favorite time of the year.
I don't know if I can talk or not.
Second favorite.
Our spring auction is here. Your chance to bid on great items and services
Today I leave for Indy.
businesses at bargain prices. May 8th through May 11th, head to 1075thegame.com and go to the Sweet Bids link and bid on services and items from Bashan Outdoor Living, Crystal Clean Janitorial, Icebox Cryotherapy, and Absolute Glass, plus Visa gift cards. Bid now.
Get your mom an insanely clean home from the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunter, 1075 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at zerorezcolumbia.com.
Heath here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder from First Palmetto Bank. And if the new year has you building or buying a new home, you need a guru in this market.
Good morning.
First Palmetto Bank is owned and operated here in the Midlands, and Jacob has local decision makers, which means quick and precise processing and underwriting. If you're looking to make a move, give Jacob a call, 803-719-1005, or email him at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com.
Thanks, Heath. Interest rates have stabilized. The local housing market also has stabilized. Now is a good time to buy a house. At First Palmetto, we have products that help homebuyers keep payments down. Also, if you are considering building your future home, please ask me about our no-nonsense construction loans. The new year brings change, and if I can help you, please give me a call, 803-719-1005.
So to follow up, rates in the housing market are stable, which makes now a good time to buy.
I'd say that sums it up.
Great. Call Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005.
My NMLS number is 198432. First Palmetto Bank is a member of FDIC and any clause and limit.
Carrie, is this schedule the most updated?
There's a wedding season rush at Dr. Iona's practice.
We're fully booked this week. We can try and squeeze you in next Tuesday.
She needs a dental hygienist to unveil fresh smiles.
How long has 3 been under the UV light?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
And we're happy to have been voted Lexington's best glass store for 13 years in a row.
Many drivers are unaware that your cracked windshields can be replaced, usually at absolutely no cost to you.
If all the high-end car dealerships in town can trust us to do their glass needs, so can you.
We service the Midlands both at our shop in Lexington, but we are also happy to come to you at home or work.
Find us online at absoluteglassinc.com. And remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
What we're talking about on 107.5 Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, celebrating the incomparable Silverado for the first time in history. The #1 selling retail full-size in America. Find yours at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game
with Bill Gunter.
What is it? Today is, I believe, the 132nd running, if I'm looking correctly, of the Boston Marathon.
Just so you know.
Of course, the Boston Marathon started to honor the great Paul Revere. for his midnight ride.
Paul didn't run.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
I was hoping that Terry and Jen were listening to that because that's factually not true. That is, I think I tricked you, but no, the Boston Marathon was not started to honor Paul Revere for his midnight ride.
And Jen Jensen.
The theme of this show. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
The more and more I hear that opener, the more and more like I feel like I failed in that attempt for a very good setup. Jen wasn't paying attention that morning. Terry was in there talking to her. I feel like I was really heading somewhere with a good joke on, they created the Boston Marathon to honor the Paul Revere midnight ride. And there might have been some people listening who were like, what a dummy. I hope my kid doesn't grow up to be like him. And then I didn't play it long enough, or Jen not catching it and getting a reaction from her. I feel like I could have done a lot better with that joke that I was trying to make that morning.
It was fine.
You did fine.
It's good.
And we've gotten mileage out of it.
I was gonna say we've gotten good use out of it. It's worked.
I know, but it's just one of the every morning. It's like it's one of those things that now we've used, and it's almost to me more of like a reminder of you had maybe a good setup on this.
See, this is the side of they don't see about you, Bill. They don't know you go home and you agonize over the missed opportunities that you missed at 6:15 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Oh,
this is a winner.
If that's the case, he probably agonizes a lot in his life.
At the tortured soul of the early morning host.
Yeah, just bombing on a couple jokes I go for.
You don't understand. I wish I could have had that one.
Missed opportunities when I see them. Yeah, just unbelievable. 803-404-6100. A beautiful morning here in Columbia. Preston was commenting about 35 minutes ago. It was pretty bright out here already.
It's daytime.
Yeah, so we're rolling right along into summer. And one of the things that we kind of got into yesterday, maybe a little bit earlier this week, Shane Beamer was kind of talking about the schedule for his guys the next several weeks. Preston, this is the month of May, and it's changed. It really is crazy for me. Not that I ever played college football, but I had a bunch of friends, people that we know together, that 20 years ago, 2002, 2003, under Lou Holtz, how college football was run in the offseason as opposed to how it is now. And this is really about the 4-week period, about the 25 days almost. Because I guess exams, like I know Olivia Thompson graduated October, May 6th, but then you got to be back Memorial Day night. What was it? I mean, it's different because this is the 1 month players can kind of get away from the game. Shane Beamer even said he tells his players, go home, see family, get away from the game for a month, because when we come back on Memorial Day night, we're full go again, getting ready for September 2nd.
Yeah, this is the time of year. This is the best time of year as an athlete, especially in football, because as Shane said, you do get a chance to get away. You're not under the pressure of having to come lift every single day, seeing your coaches all the time. But it gets into this weird spot, Bill, because the older you get, the less time you want to be at home, because home is no longer home anymore. So now it's like you're a grown up, and your mom's still telling you to take out the trash, and it gets into this. It just gets interesting when you go home from college and you're there.
Yeah,
but your mom is you're still your baby boy.
If you're a good player, if you're a really good player, you have 70,000, 75,000 people every Saturday in the palm of your hand. If you're Spencer Rattler and you go to a local restaurant, everybody's coming up shaking it. You go home and your mom's like, no, take trash out, or
pick your shoes up.
Yeah, your room's dirty. You're like, but mom, I just threw for 385 yards against number 3 Tennessee. Like, people love me. Don't care.
Right.
You're not at Williams-Brice Stadium. You're at home.
Yes, absolutely. So it gets into this weird thing, and then you get into the whole point of you used to being in college and you used to staying out all night, and you just can't roll into your mother's home at 3:00 in the morning. It doesn't work like that. So all of that aside, it is the time to sort of recuperate, rejuvenate, and get yourself ready for the spring. For the summer, because the summer is, and essentially the second part of the season. So the third part. So they always say winter workouts is first, spring ball is second, and then summer is like the third quarter of the season, and it is very important.
So how much have things changed in your opinion? Because you mentioned yesterday, I think, or Tuesday, that you didn't, as a freshman, you didn't enroll until August.
Yeah.
And that was, even back then, that was still more of the norm. The early enrollee was really not even a thing back in there. Some of it, as you pointed out, was because of high school requirements and how you can pick up high school credits now a lot easier. But you mentioned that, but the June enrollees was kind of the new thing. Like, oh, we got
those were high achievers.
Yeah, you got like, oh, we got 6 of those guys enrolling. This good class is going to be good. They can get a jump start now. If you don't have 6, 7, 8 early enrollees, your freshmen are kind of behind.
Yeah, that's what it is now. I knew I wasn't coming back till August. I already knew that. I was like, I'm gonna stay in Somerville. Yeah, guys, I'm training. Send me the workout.
Yeah,
I'm training. But the guys that actually came on campus, and this is Langston's story to tell, so he can tell it another time. But I believe Langston was one of the guys who intended to come in June. He might have came in June and decided, I think I'm going back. I don't I don't want any parts of these college workouts. And so that sort of happens a little bit. But the new guys, it's sort of expected for you to be here in June, and that's tough. That's tough. But here's the issue though, Bill, because you think that you're getting in shape in June, but you can't actually really prepare for what's coming in August.
But what do you mean by that? Like the practice, the heat? Like what do you?
All of it. The practice, the heat, the veterans, the coaches. I'm sure those new defensive linemen are gonna get a chance to meet Travian Robinson, and he's gonna be all, "Hi guys, how you doing? I'm Coach Robinson." You know, and he's gonna be nice to meet you. Let's go out for ice cream. And then all of a sudden they're gonna turn and flip the switch in August and you'll be like, "Who's this guy? What? The temperature's gonna be turned up a little bit." So it is interesting that players are coming to school a lot earlier, because also something changed where they can be on campus without having to take courses. So that's another thing that changed, so that you can allow this to actually happen. So they're just all of their whole thing is football.
So where I guess we take this a little bit further is my question to you: what is fair? What is a fair expectation for Nicholas Harbor? Because Shane Beamer saying on Monday night, he had another question in the crowd. They were doing question and answer sessions, and somebody said, "Is there a chance Nicholas Harbor could line up the defensive end and be a spot rusher?" And Shane said, "Well, that's the second time I've been asked that." So apparently he made the comment. So I guess this is going to be the question of the tour: is what are we going to do with Nicholas Harbor? But obviously, any time, regardless from where you get a 5-star player, expectations blow up instantly. Just fair or unfair. That's what happened with Jordan Birch. I don't think Jordan Birch was a bad player. Did he live up to what is supposed to be a 5-star status? Statistically speaking, no. Was it his fault that he was a 5-star? No, then that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. But this. You're instantly going to get this with Nicholas Harbor. And if Nicholas Harbor doesn't catch, 25 passes next year for 300, 400 yards, have 5 or 6 touchdowns, people are going to start questioning that. But how far behind the 8 ball is he? Even though as good of an athlete as he is, Preston, being this world-class sprinter, how far behind the 8 ball is he by not enrolling till June and now having to learn the offense, getting kind of a chemistry with Spencer Rattler, trying to adjust to the college lifestyle, which is still a little bit different here in the summer than it is in the fall and winter? How fair is it for South Carolina fans to go, "Oh yeah, this is now a big piece of the offense"?
I think he can be a big piece of the offense as a wide receiver, because the old adage, the further away from the ball, the easier it is to play early. That's one. 2, I don't think he's behind the 8 ball, because if he's that tremendous of a talent, his talent will move him past some of the other guys who maybe have needed a little bit more time. He should be able to adjust. All understandings about him is he's a highly intelligent guy. He's a high IQ player, so he should be able to adapt fairly quickly. So, yeah, he'll be fine. Now, the last part about adapting to the rigors of college, and every freshman's going to go through that. So, no, he's not behind the 8 ball at all, I don't think.
Athletically is what you're saying.
He's good. He's fine.
803-404-6100. We'll continue talking about this, get into a little bit more. South Carolina did pick up a preferred walk-on commitment yesterday, transfer preferred walk-on commitment along the offensive line. Gamecocks still appear to be trying to look around in the transfer portal at some offensive linemen and seeing how they can enhance the roster. We'll give you that information as well as stay on a little bit of football. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Yeah, whatever. Busy.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Right.
He can't drive the truck. So what we'll do.
This is Former Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. On Tuesday night, Nikola Jokic recorded his 10th postseason triple-double to break Wilt Chamberlain's record, while James Harden passed the Big Dipper for 20th on the all-time playoff scoring line. Hard to believe, but Chamberlain played his final NBA game, get this, 50 years ago last night. What a tremendous player he was. I'm Former Science.
Oh, okay. 6 to 9. Bring it on back.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Get top deals on everything you need to freshen up your yard, like the Cobalt 24-volt string trimmer and leaf blower combo kit, only at Lowe's. Was $199, now just $149.
Well,
Plus, get your lawn in shape with up to $15 off select Scott's Easy Seed Lawn Repair Mixes. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Scott's offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
The platform.
Don't miss Clean Car Month now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get Superior Coverall Tire Shine 2 for $18. Get details at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Hi, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers with an important reminder for all you guys out there. Sunday, May 14th is Mother's Day. Is there anyone more important in your life than your mom or your wife? Whether you want to show your appreciation for all the wonderful things your mom did for you, or you'd like to communicate your love to that amazing woman who bore your children, there's no better way to express your affection to the fabulous women in your life than with a gift of jewelry. Mother's Day gifts come in all sizes and price ranges in our stores, like sterling silver jewelry starting at just $19.99, or half-carat total weight diamond studs, just $3.99. Or how about a 1-carat lab-grown diamond starting at just $14.99? That's right. No matter what your budget is, we've got you covered. Count on leaving Traditions Fine Jewelers with exactly the right gift for that special mom in your life. Only at Traditions Fine Jewelers in Lexington, on Sunset, and in Sand Hills next to the Fountain. South Carolina's diamond superstore and customization destination, where the Midlands get engaged.
Welcome back to Carolina Power Equipment and our special guest, Kai Kroger, punter extraordinaire for the University of South Carolina.
Yep, it's Kai Boda country right here at Carolina Power Equipment.
That's Kubota, Kai.
Oh, right. That's what I said.
Tell everyone why you love these Kubota zero turns.
They're like our best running backs. They can cut through anything, and they're built like our biggest linebacker, tough as nails. Plus, they can stop and turn on a dime, just like my sweet kicks.
Don't forget about all the Kubota tractors. This place is a Kubota superstore.
I love these Kubota tractors. They keep winning awards for being the best in the business.
It's like the Ray Guy Award for Best Punter, where you were clearly robbed.
Moving on, if you're a landowner, these Kai Boda tractors simply outkick the competition.
Kai Boda? Nice try, buddy.
Tried a little fake there. I'm kind of known for that.
Carolina Power Equipment, 2490 Charleston Highway in the heart of Casey. Or visit carolinapowerequipment.com.
Kubota, it's the only orange I'll ever love.
South Carolina fans, this is Spencer Rattler. The Garnet Trust is making a difference by connecting fans like you with athletes like me through NIL deals. Head on over to garnettrust.com. Find out how you can support me and my teammates for as little as $10.
Trust, we want trust.
New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at herndonchevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast. Actor Russell Crowe.
I went to a Snoop Dogg concert in Melbourne with my 16-year-old son, and he knows I'm there. We've been friends for quite a while. And he goes, I just want to do a shout out. He knows who he is.
Are you not entertained?
My 16-year-old's eyes just popped, and I was like, Snoop, I owe you for that, man. Thank you very much.
That's as cool dad points as you can possibly get.
That's a 3-pointer, right?
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
Sponsored by TrainInfo.com. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
That house is like a mold dump.
We'll sell it when we get the other one. But seriously, I am so pissed. You know
South Carolina
I
Department
do.
of Corrections is
I do
hiring
know
statewide.
somebody. Yeah, see what I can do. I'm pretty much going to sell it as is right now. Knock yourself out.
Plus in their first year. Officers
If I
must
could
be at
build
least
the-
18
get the
years
other
of
house
age.
built.
Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure again you keep checking back. Might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
So if anybody says, "Hey, Surf Pro, they're looking for endorsers," oh my god, that
Preston, you're a pretty level-headed guy. You take things kind of as they come, and you don't get too fired up over things. The beginning of over the weekend, going into Monday, I just retweeted something about over-unders per DraftKings. Had South Carolina 6.5, Tennessee at 9.5, Florida at 5.5. It's that time of year where we cut up about, like I say, cut up, and we just kind of look at these things and be like, oh, okay, and then just to create football conversation, that's what we do. Well, Brad Crawford, who we've had on this program of 24/7 Sports, has actually put out bowl projections. May bowl projections. They're meaningless, right? Like we don't. Real quick before I even get into these things, just so for our own sake here on the program, we know where Preston Thorne stands on this because I'm always just fascinated. I almost look more at it from the standpoint of like at the Christmas party, I can watch this matchup. That kind of intrigues me. Whereas then by the time we get there, if it occurs, you're like, oh, I'm not really interested in that. But with that being said, when both as a former player who might have looked at these things in magazines and now as a guy who's played, coached, and now analyzes it with a little bit different view. When somebody says, "Oh, I got bowl projections in May," I got bowl projections. What's the Preston Thorne take?
It's absolutely ridiculous. Part one, part two.
As long as I'm not
where are we going? That's where it goes.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous, but where are we going?
Yeah, it's ridiculous unless your team is slotted for either, like, say, the Capital One Bowl or the playoff. At that point, or one of the big.
Also, there's
games.
one caveat, and this is where I'm at conflict, Bill, because my rooting interest is for the Gamecocks to somehow make themselves eligible for the Las Vegas Bowl.
Okay.
But I don't think that lends for a great season. So I'm very much conflicted because I think in order to get to the Las Vegas Bowl, we're probably going to come in around that 6 or 7 win mark.
Yeah.
And I don't want that, but I mean, it is Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So
It's
that's
tough.
I'm with you. See, so like you start because I start like just go, and again the way I take these bowl matchups is, could I go to the local watering hole at 1:00 the week after Christmas when really nobody works between Christmas and New Year's and sit down with my friends? Is this game of like interest to me? So like the first responder bowl, Baylor versus Florida. Oh, okay. So that's how I kind of take. That's how I take these holiday bowl. Normally a very late game. I think about 9:15 kickoff. NC State and Utah. That doesn't sound any fun. That's a late game. I'd like to enjoy that one. So that's how I kind of take bowl games, and then I get to kind of whatever it is South Carolina is, and my first thinking is kind of like you. Is that a destination I would like to travel to? Would that be kind of work it? My second line of thinking is like, is that an opponent I'm really excited to see South Carolina face off against? So 24/7 Sports, Brad Crawford has put out his bowl predictions, and I'll give you some other ones here coming up in a few minutes. But he's got South Carolina, and if I told you this bowl game here in May. All right. If I told you this, would you sign up for it? Okay.
Okay.
The Reliaquist Bowl. That typically means a pretty good 7-win season or a nice 8-win season. Maybe 9 wins if everybody else is great and you get knocked down a peg or two. But by and large, Reliaquist Bowl probably projecting a pretty good 7-win season, which means you've won a game against maybe a top 20 or a game or two against top 20. You have a nice little resume, put you up a little bit higher than, say, the Gasparilla Bowl or the Birmingham Bowl or even the Music City Bowl. But if I tell you Tampa, your one sound word initial reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a feeling when I tell you the opponent, it's not going to get better.
Okay.
Minnesota in Tampa.
Boo. Well, hold on a second, Bill.
There are always spaces.
Is Mr. Dork row the boat? Is he still at Minnesota?
Count him in. Yes, he would.
Okay. I mean,
so you're a little more now. You throw PJ Fleck.
Yeah, let's get him out of here.
Okay.
Because he's annoying to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's get PJ Fleck out of here. I'm a little bit more intrigued. Minnesota, absolutely not. PJ Fleck, a chance to beat him, so we can roll him out of Tampa Stadium. That's a good matchup. The Buccaneers, they roll the boats.
Sending Minnesota. I think Minnesota's been, again, this is where bowl games, but I think Minnesota's been sit down to Tampa multiple times over the last year. I could be wrong, but
no, not very excited about playing Minnesota.
How we did, because again, bowl projections in May. You're not like, call up Tampa right now. Get the hotel, get close to the stadium or get close to the party area. It is interesting because now what we're starting to see, that over-unders that we talked about on Monday and Tuesday, and now you get some bowl projections. So you start to see the hype for certain teams coming out, and you start to see where maybe your own team is projected. And this is what I think is kind of interesting. It seems like, and I don't know if people want to agree with this, if people are going to say, yeah, that's realistic, that what the national media is kind of saying, when I see South Carolina picked at 6.5 victories by DraftKings, just when I see it, when I see a Reliaquist Bowl matchup and I see who South Carolina's got coming back, it feels to me more like people going, yeah, two of those last 3 games, the Tennessee Clips, those were more fluky than they were indicative of what this program is, because Tennessee is slated here for the Citrus Bowl. Tennessee, according to DraftKings, is got a 9.5 win-loss over-under total. And so what I feel like as we go into magazine season and SEC Media Day and talking season is, if you don't like Tennessee and you don't like Tennessee being hyped up, the next 3 months are not going to be enjoyable. And if you're expecting South Carolina to be put closer to Georgia than to Vanderbilt, bottom of the conference or bottom of the East, top of the East, you're going to be probably looking at maybe closer to Vanderbilt than you are to Georgia.
Ooh. So we need to track this. We need to track this throughout the year, because I realized at some point some schools gain traction over the summer, whether it's because of some fun video they put out.
I feel like it was Arkansas last year.
They just started gaining traction. All of a sudden people say, Arkansas. Oh, and then what happens is, and I'm guilty of it too, I hear somebody else say it, then all of a sudden I said it, and I'm like, yeah, you better watch out for Arkansas. Why you think that? I don't know. Some media source said it. So I wonder what the motivation is for South Carolina being put very steadily middle of the road. But if that was the motivation, if they're saying, Yeah, those last two games against Tennessee and Clemson were not necessarily what the program was. I think that's fair. That's fair because I watched the team all year. You watched the team all year. You listened and watched the team all year. That wasn't what the team was all year. Now, is that what they will be moving forward? Maybe, because they have two of the most important pieces. Spencer Rattler, Juice Wells. Those pieces are there. However, there are some question marks. So that's 6.5 games. I think that's fair. I don't think that's. I mean, the people in the building should have a chip on the shoulder, but I think that's fair.
And it's just interesting to discuss because I'm now trying to. It's the first time I really feel like I'm seeing a difference between the national perspective and the local perspective.
Are you saying we are higher?
Yes. I feel like the South Carolina football going into that Notre Dame game, I think had as much momentum as they had in 10, 11, 12, whatever year you want to pick for Steve Spurrier in that 3-year run. And I don't feel like the bowl game. The only thing I said about the bowl game was as long as you don't get blown out, like 38-3 or 45-10, something in that.
And it was a great game.
As long as you don't get blown out, you've done nothing to hurt the momentum of your season. But
I agree.
The way the season finished, the publicity they were getting, the recruiting class that they landed in December, it felt like everything was trending very heavily to South Carolina being kind of not an Eastern Division pick because those Georgia Bulldogs are there with you, but a top 15, top 20. It feels to me nationally now that South Carolina is sliding back under the radar. Where here in Columbia, because fans are around it and they get excited, and as Lamont Paris pointed out many times the other night at the Welcome Home Tour fan, short for fanatical, like I feel like the fans here are going, if it's not 8 wins, it's not good. If it's not 8, it's not good. Whereas the national media is going, 7 is about what you should expect. And if it's 6, that's right for your pro. You see the difference? And that's where I'm really becoming interested in this, and I'm interested to hear people's opinions on what they see for this team versus what the national media is starting to project as we get closer. Again, Phil Steele's magazine's due out in a couple of weeks. You'll get the Streets and Smith and the Athlons, and then we'll get into the SEC Media Day. I'll ask you right now, May 11th. You're projecting May 11th. When we go to SEC Media Day in Nashville, where do they put South Carolina in the SEC Eastern Division? Where does the media put them?
3rd.
I'm almost willing to say 4th behind Missouri.
That was the one that's what I had 4th.
And I'm not sure that, it's just Mark Stoops. He's done a good job. Like, has South Carolina done enough that at media days, which is irrelevant, I get it. And listen, it's May 11th. We're creating some content here with a bowl. But I am interested to see the varying opinions of the local fan base versus the national media and what they're saying. Because again, I'm starting to see these things come in. I'm going, national media not projecting a whole lot out of South Carolina in 2023.
I said 3rd. And Missouri was the one that I was going back and forth with. But really, you could put those 3 programs in a bag, and you could put South Carolina, Missouri, and Kentucky in a bag and pull one out. And I think any one of them could be 3rd right now. I'm not huge on Tennessee. I get it. They got a fun offense. They run 100 plays a game, but they've lost a lot of players. And I'm interested to see how that comes back around.
It's just as we go to it, I feel like there's a lot of people here, and we're kind of starting to set that bar, that expectation. 8 wins. You got to win 8. Whereas I feel like and I could be wrong on this, but I feel like you're seeing others say, no, it's closer to 6, maybe 7.
What I want to see is whether or not, and this will be Shane's, what his approach in the summer is going to be. Is he going to embrace this idea that, no, we're here for 9 wins plus, this is what we have arrived, or does he still sell it as we're building process? Because I think the head coach sort of sets expectations for the fan base, and they'll do it subtly. I mean, it's obviously not going to say, "Oh, hey, I'll be happy if we get 6." We're not going to say that, but you can sort of tell what their expectations are, and I'm very curious to see how they'll approach it.
Steve Spurrier was great at it. Steve Spurrier said the first few years we're just trying to win enough games and get to a bowl game, and then we'll elevate to competing for the SEC East. And he was good at kind of having a good feel for his football team and what he wants. Now, Shane Beamer is a very, I don't even know if that might be underselling his positivity on his, like, ultra positive guy.
Relentless.
But I also think he's done a good job of basically not going overboard with expectations at times, because I think the first year I was very interested to hear how he was going to label the first year. Second year being a little bit different. I'll be very interested again as we go through these welcome home tours, as we get to SEC Media Day, as we do that press conference we do out there at, whatever golf course we've done at the little media outing, the birdies with Beamer, how he starts to set the expectations, because I think it's fair. I think it's fair for fans to look and say, all right, Rattler's back, Juice Wells is back. We got to find a running back, but I'll ask you when we come back, is running back the easiest thing to find on a football team? I'll ask you that when we come back, but how do you start to set those expectations? 803-404-6100. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
We are very social.
At 107.5 The Game on Twitter, 107.5 The Game on Instagram, and 107.5 The Game on Facebook.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request? I'll have to check.
Your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Heath here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder from First Palmetto Bank. And if the new year has you building or buying a new home, you need a guru in this market. First Palmetto Bank is owned and operated here in the Midlands, and Jacob has local decision makers, which means quick and precise processing and underwriting. If you're looking to make a move, give Jacob a call, 803-719-1005, or email him at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com.
Thanks, Heath. Interest rates have stabilized. The local housing market also has stabilized. Now is a good time to buy a house. At First Palmetto, we have products that help homebuyers keep payments down. Also, if you are considering building your future home, please ask me about our no-nonsense construction loans. The new year brings change, and if I can help you, please give me a call, 803-719-1005.
So to follow up, rates in the housing market are stable, which makes now a good time to buy.
I'd say that sums it up.
Great. Call Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005.
My NMLS number is 198432. First Palmetto Bank is a member of FDIC and any clause and lender.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Pioneer Tree Service has more than 4 decades of helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property. Their skilled crew offers customized solutions that match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential trouble areas such as roof lines and driveways. Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds, and their removal must be handled with care. Pioneer Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. And I want you to call them at 803-794-8253.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now, or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists, Sunday mornings at 10. Join Pat as he talks about the latest trends and headlines that could impact your retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 10 to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby. Securities offered through Arcadios Capital Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arcadios Wealth. Preservation Specialists and Arcadios are not affiliated through any ownership.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Do you have a graduate in your family? Hey, Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers, and we have perfect gifts to help celebrate your graduate. Get a box 3-piece pearl set for only $199. 1/2 carat diamond earrings are just $399. Celebrate their journey with a sterling silver charm bracelet and get a $10 coupon towards their first charms. Maybe a lasting gift of gold earrings or charms, or maybe birthstone jewelry. 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, or in Sandhills Mall by the Fountain. Traditions Fine Jewelers, your graduation gift headquarters.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure, again, you keep checking back. Might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Coming up in a little less than an hour, AJ Allmendinger will join us here as we get you ready for Darlington. Preston, myself, Jen, we were just discussing during the break our plans for in the morning, how we plan to handle getting down there and getting you ready for this is gonna be fun. Preston's never been. Last time I was down there was for a Gamecock Club event.
Oh wow,
years ago. But we'll be down there bright and early, 6 a.m. and
get it settled.
We'll get you set up and get you going. Mother's Day event, that should be a lot of fun. Right now in our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge, and we'll make our picks tomorrow. Carrie Thorpe will join us tomorrow. We've got, again, Ryan Sanchez set to join us from the Truck Series. We have Steve Post with Motor Racing Network who will be joining us as well. And then Carrie Thorpe set to join us. We got a busy morning tomorrow. Along the way, we'll make our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge right now. After I won last week, Denny Hamlin wins. Carrie sits in first place with 46 points. Preston, not far behind, 43 points. I'm hanging in the middle, 38, just kind of lurking back, just kind of hanging out, waiting for some debris in front of me to clean up, and then I'm going to just coast right around it.
The only thing I remember from Days of Thunder was drafting. Are you drafting right now? Is that what's going on?
A little drafting going on, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
conserving.
and then you could do the slingshot to get past them.
Conserving fuel, conserving the tires. Jen is in fourth place, or second to last, as we call it, and Reggie dead last place. Jen with 33 points, Reggie with 32. So, let's see, I'm trying to think. So I'll have the third pick tomorrow, which means I'm picking ahead of you. I'm not going to lie. If he is there, I'll just go ahead and let everybody know, because he is the current active all-time winner at Darlington. I will probably be following, as Jen likes to call my girlfriend or whatever. I will be taking Denny Hamlin tomorrow. So I'll just go ahead and forewarn you, Preston, since you pick after me. No need to have Hamlin.
Hamlin won't be there
on your sheet.
He won't be on the board.
He will not be. If he is available at the third pick, he will be mine. But AJ Allmendinger set to join us here in just a little while. We'll catch up with him as he gets ready for Darlington this coming weekend. Should be, again, a lot of fun. 803-404-6100. A couple interesting text tweets coming in here. Casey on our live stream says, although it's early, the expectation is an interesting thing to monitor, which I agree. Beamer and team have overachieved his first 2 seasons. The ability to continue to do that is a very tough thing to do. And I agree with that. That's a good point about overachieving for South Carolina. But at some point, winning 8 games doesn't need to be overachieving, right? Like, you've got to make that where that is the standard.
Yeah, that has to be the standard. But to Casey's point, and I think about it in business terms, like they've had 2 years where they've knocked it out the park. The profits has been tremendous. Everything's going great. And you hate to be the person to come into the meeting and say, hey, guys, it's not always going to be like that. We're going to be good, but maybe the numbers aren't going to quite be what we've had these last 2 years. You don't ever want to be that because we always think that the numbers go straight up. But at some point, you're right, Bill. What is 8 wins this year? Is that going to be overachieving, or is that going to be what this team is? Is that going to be the standard? I think that's why this year is so crucial for the development of the team and how Shane is going with this trajectory, I should say.
It's Justin makes a very good point on the Firehouse Subs text line. Let me read this to you and you can take your opinion. He says, now let's be honest with ourselves. Looking at the schedule, where do you see 7-8 wins for the Gamecocks? Short of main player injuries, what are the chances of the Gamecocks sweeping Tennessee and Clemson again this year? I think a 6-7 win season is about right, honestly. Well, let's start with Tennessee for a second, because Tennessee's the team who I feel like is getting a lot of love, or is going to be that team that will be projected to compete with Georgia for the SEC East this year. And I'm going to go ahead and forewarn you, if you don't like Tennessee, when we get to SEC Media Days, you watch, there's going to be those couple people who say, I'm going out on a limb. Georgia lost their quarterback. They lost too many people again. I'm taking Tennessee to win the East. I don't see it like right now, and I haven't done the complete deep dive into Tennessee, but you lost what's supposed to be your top 2 wide receivers in Cedric Tillman, statistically speaking, because he missed a lot of games, was not. But Jalen Hyatt, you lost a quarterback that developed very nicely in Hendon Hooker. You lost your top linebacker. They do have some nice pieces back. But I think with all that being said, Preston, like, I don't think Tennessee was that many points better than South Carolina in Knoxville 2 years ago. Just like I don't think South Carolina was 25 points better than Tennessee this past year. I know Tennessee had a great year. I don't feel like the programs are that far apart, though.
Ooh, I haven't really considered that. I think you can throw them in that same bag as Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina. They're all right there in the middle. Somehow people think Tennessee separated themselves, and they probably earned that because of the season that they had last year. But I don't know if that's going to be something that carry overs. To the Texas point, what was the texter that texted?
Justin.
Shout out to Justin. I think that's very fair. I know we need to make sure we celebrate, revel in our victory for the past year. But that team in the orange is going to be good again. And
yes, Tennessee will be good again.
Yeah, that one too. But the other one will be good again. And they've gotten some issues fixed that they had last year. And I'm assuming they got some issues fixed. They made an adjustment, obviously, with their offense. They've changed quarterbacks. So just to say, oh, yeah, mark it down. I don't know if that's the case.
I don't know if you're saying mark it down as much as I don't know how many people truly went into that Clemson game on the road, thinking South Carolina could win. Like, you have that kind of, I think even the most pessimistic Gamecock fan goes into it like, well, maybe. I'll give you an example. Back when Steve Spurrier was the coach, there were games that I knew South Carolina, especially early on, were not favorites. And I'd be like, well, maybe Spurrier dials up some ball. If the old ball coach gets going today, maybe he dials up, has one of those magical games, and you got a chance there in the fourth quarter. I think even a lot of optimistic Gamecock fans outside of that locker room over there was like, yeah, that win last week was really nice, but 2 weeks in a row, we're not at home. It's not a night game. It's probably not going to happen. And so when you win, there is that. I don't know if South Carolina goes into a game, maybe outside of Georgia, probably outside of Georgia this year, thinking they can't win. And I don't know if you thought that last year. And I definitely don't think you thought it in Shane Beamer's first year. I'm not saying they'll go 11-1. Trust me, I'd never pick that. But I think the mindset is different now, at least especially in the fan base, that, oh, okay, out of the other 12 games, Georgia on the road over there, yeah, probably not going to win that one. But the other 11, I don't just go in thinking, no way we can't win that one.
That's fair. That's fair. And so when Justin was looking at the schedule, obviously discounting Tennessee and Clemson, thinking about the rest of that, and and maybe if you say discount Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia, I think any of those other games are even more so pick'ems. I think when I'm looking at those teams, and so I do see that leads you close to. I'm not looking at the schedule in front of me. That leads you right around 7-ish, and then something's got to shake. Something's got to happen in those other games that maybe you're not supposed to.
You know, the big thing is, can you hold serve at home? Can you knock
What
off
does that look like?
Mississippi State? Can you Furman, but Mississippi State, Florida, Jacksonville State, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Clemson. Excuse me.
Losing any of those games aside from Clemson would be a very big disappointment, in my opinion.
I'm with you, and that's what I'm saying. Can you hold serve? Can you hold serve at home? Because that's 6 games. You win those 5, then you look at North Carolina. You need to win that one. That's a very big swing game. I feel like there's 6 there, and then where do you pick up your road victory? Can you kind of get that Missouri Tex off your back? Missouri, that's the one that kind of sticks with people. Is Texas A&M now with Bobby Petrino calling the plays? Are they going to be better? We'll continue talking about this, certainly continue down this path, just kind of looking ahead more so because you're starting to get some early projections out. And I think it tells you what we just went through. Yeah, maybe 7 is the realistic bar for this team this year. We'll get into that. 803-404-6100. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Life matters. Lee was terrified. Waiting to go ashore in the Battle of Saipan, the odds against his survival were great. He had been trained well and wore the uniform of a U.S. Marine, but he was still literally shaking in his boots. He decided that he could act brave even if he wasn't. He put his best effort into it and even won the Purple Heart during the bloody campaign. His friends continually commented on his bravery, and Lee became convinced that he was a pretty good actor. He decided to make it a career, and Lee, we know him as Lee Marvin, eventually became a star. Sometimes in adversity, we see something rise in our life that can eventually be a great blessing. Paul had an infirmity of some sort that he called a thorn in the flesh. Unable to remove it, his thorn actually made him stronger. Don't be too quick to cave into trouble. Sometimes great trouble can turn into great blessing. This is Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life on Bush River Road. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Get your mom an insanely clean home from the cleaning pros at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at zerorezcolumbia.com.
If you have IRS tax problems, it can seem like a vicious cycle that never ends, year after year. Just getting the mail can be stressful and overwhelming. Don't let it ruin your life. There is a solution. Since 2008, the attorneys at Ecton Law Firm have devoted their practice to the resolution of tax problems for individuals and businesses across the Carolinas. We have the knowledge and experience and are dedicated to the success of each client. We are local attorneys with local solutions. At the free initial consultation, we'll listen to your concerns, your goals, and explain the systematic process we use in solving your tax problem. From that initial meeting, you'll see there is a solution. We're dedicated to improving your life by solving your tax problems. If we sound like someone you want to work with, take that first step. Give us a call at 803-771-9800 or go to ectonlawfirm.com. You'll be glad you did.
It's your favorite time of the year. Ho, ho, ho. All right, second favorite. Our spring auction is here. Your chance to bid on great items and services from fine local businesses at bargain prices. May 8th through May 11th, head to 1075thegame.com and go to the Sweet Bits link and bid on services and items from Floor Pro, Modern Exterminating, Carolina Aesthetic Medical Spa, and Pedigo Electric Bike Soda City, plus Visa gift cards. Bid now.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure, again, you keep checking back. Might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
I want to get to this text, but I'll probably save it for the next hour. It's from Coach Mack, and I think it's a great text, and I think it explains perfectly where we are at in the very early stages of talking season and trying to figure out where South Carolina football, what you kind of expect from them this year. What you kind of expect. I'll get to that text, but I do want to say here on the early game, it's a team effort. We're a team, and Jen is about to go down for the team, and she's going to go. She's leaving here in a few minutes, heading to Darlington today. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it. She volunteered very quickly. Now, Jen loves Darlington. I thought about it. But again, in our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge, she's 4th place right now. I figured out that she's doing this to go down and get early inside knowledge.
Little intel.
She's gonna do the thing that you do. Will you like kind of go down and kind of scrape the track a little bit and then lick your fingers just to test and see how the
yeah, I'm gonna try to go through the pits and see if there aren't some things I can glean from that, and kind of look at different areas. Mm-hmm. Check it out.
Denny Hamlin's car, I got a feeling. If anybody's listening down there, please put extra security detail on Denny Hamlin's car, given that he will
so nervous.
Be selected no worse than 3rd tomorrow. Jen, you got a favorite memory of Darlington?
Nothing. I mean, it's always fun, and I guess one thing that I always you are reminded of every time is, especially if you're in the infield, you're always hearing it like it's almost like you're in a bowl. So the echoing of the cars. So even when they're, on the back straight, it's no matter what, you're just always constantly hearing the hum of the cars, which they get pretty spread out on the track anyway. So that makes a difference, but it's just always loud. It's not like, and then it just sort of drifts off. And then as they come back by you again, it's just always this constant buzz. It's really cool. It really is.
It's going to be cool. I mean, I don't know. We were kind of talking about it off air, Mother's Day and everything going on. I don't know if I don't know if any of us are going to actually make it to the actual race this year. But Preston, it is something I've never been to. I've never been to a NASCAR race, and I've driven by Talladega before. I've driven by a couple more there. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, Charlotte Motor Speedway, just in terms of traveling, but never been in. This is an event for the state of South Carolina. We should maybe take a little bit more pride. Yesterday it was announced Myrtle Beach will host a PGA Tour event in 2024. It will coincide with what they're calling a designated event. So the field at the Dunes Club in Myrtle Beach will be a week, or what I would call a weaker field, because the main players that you'd want to see, the McElroys and Rahms and so forth and so on, they'll be playing in a designated event. But this is something for our state to be extremely proud of, and to be and it is something that I think you put up on your bucket list, that even if you don't like NASCAR, you go once just to say you've been and get the experience.
Yeah, I always love doing events where haven't necessarily done it before, and it's going to be my first time, and you can join in the conversation when people start talking about Darlington. I can have a reference point. I'll be like, oh, okay, I remember what they're talking about. So this is right up my alley. I'm really excited to see what it looks like from the inside. I've seen it from the outside, never been inside, so I'm really excited about that.
I'm just looking. The texter just sent us the full weekend schedule. I hadn't seen this. It's pretty cool. Well, Jen's heading down there today. Apparently, starting here in about 30 minutes, Jen, if you can speed this process a little, they have a camper donut delivery.
Oh, nice.
It's my kind of
There are a lot of delivery options for food. It's pretty cool, actually.
So we will
bring it to me.
We will be down there bright and early tomorrow morning with Jen. She is off now to go get us kind of set up to get everything. We know what we're doing. So be safe traveling.
Yep.
I'll see you at like 3:30 in the morning.
Earliest game.
Hour 3 on the way.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
What's up, y'all? This Gamecocks wide receiver Juice Wells. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
I'm proud to work for Volvo Cars because we're helping build a safer, more sustainable future for everyone. My name is Tamara Thompson. I'm from South Carolina, born and raised in Sumter. I'm a quality launch supervisor at the Volvo Cars plant in Ridgeville. I'm helping build the new Volvo EX90 here. At Volvo Cars, people are at the center. We feel supported, recognized, and feel like we can grow our careers. And we're hiring. Apply now at readysc.org/Volvo.
No manufacturing experience required. Must be 18 years or older with a high school diploma.
Give mom a timeout with special gift card savings at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Get a free facial gift card when you purchase a spa package. Search for the location nearest you to explore their exclusive online gift card sales. Lexington Medical Center is hosting an all-star hiring event. If you want to join their team, come see them at Sagra Park on Friday, May 19th. They're offering on-site interviews and special game day sign-on bonuses. Schedule an appointment at lexmed.com/jobs.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit cantycanfixit.com. Canty can fix it.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing. Or this one. I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better, unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest one.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the Power of Love Chevrolet, celebrating the Chevy Silverado for the first time in history, the #1 selling retail full-size pickup in America. Come by and feel the power of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Here's the problem with that 9-minute average. Once you're running 9 minutes, you're no longer trotting. You're running.
Yes.
Also a problem.
So this is the cocky trot. I'm gonna need you to slow down a little.
With Bill Gunter.
I'm an expert in trotting, and that is not trotting. That is running. Full on, very close to sprinting.
And Jen Jensen.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
On a Thursday morning as we get you ready. A couple of y'all weighing in with your favorite Darlington memory. Robert this morning. Let's see here. AJ weighs in. I'm sorry. Robert telling me he's got a free ticket to Darlington. He's been trying to give it away. Okay. Well, there's that. AJ weighing in this morning says favorite Darlington memory is Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven battling for the win. The worst is Jeff Gordon holding off Jeff Burton to win the Winston Million. I don't know. I got nothing to share with that. I'm just reading people's memories.
I just remember Jeff Gordon being the ultimate face heel. He was such a good guy that people ended up hating him. Is that about right?
I didn't get into it at that much at that point to where people like got that fire. Does that make sense? Like to me, Jeff Gordon seemed like a nice guy.
I think that was the problem.
Now I didn't. Yeah, because we don't want nice guys in NASCAR. Is that the problem?
That was kind of the issue.
NASCAR, we need a guy who's...
I might be speaking way out of turn, but I think Jeff Gordon was very much clean-cut, corporate, squeaky clean, cleaning up NASCAR. We're going to present this guy to the world and the veterans of the game. We got Tyler coming in, so we might need to ask him a little bit more about it. But I just remember it felt like they tried to force feed Jeff Gordon on everybody as NASCAR was sort of coming into the new age. Then on top of that, he was winning too, so that made it a problem.
Well, so Tyler, is that because Tyler also, because of his background, is into wrestling and he understands the nuances of, and I say that because there is a technical aspect to actual WWE wrestling. It's not just go out there, be big, mean, strong, yell into a mic.
Right.
But you understand also the fun part of wrestling is having the villain, the heel. We don't want in WWE or in NASCAR, we don't want nice, clean-shaven mama's boys, right? I want somebody who, if I turn my back on you, you may hit me with a chair.
Yeah.
You may throw a tire iron at my face. You may run me into the wall, right? That's what we want out of our NASCAR drivers and our WWE wrestlers.
No, absolutely. It makes it more compelling when you have somebody to root against. And mentioned Jeff Gordon there in the 90s, he was the perfect foil to Dale Earnhardt, because Dale Earnhardt was the man. He'd won all of his championships. And here comes this clean-cut pretty boy from California, of all places, into a southern sport, driving a rainbow car. What's this guy all about? Like, he was the perfect anti-hero to Dale Earnhardt. And you have something similar right now with Ross Chastain, who got in the fight on Sunday with Noah Gragson after the race. Like, he's aggressive. He's not afraid to wreck people or move people out of the way. And, as much as you may hate him, he makes for good, compelling television because you want to root against him.
Okay.
Well, we've had this conversation the last few weeks, just on and off, about villains in sports, and it makes it like you tune in a little bit more to see the villain get beat, and you get a little bit more passionate when the villain wins. Hate that guy. oh, I can't believe he won. You're a little more fired up. You go to the office. You go around the water cooler. You share your feelings with other coworkers. I can't believe that guy won. Yeah, that guy sucks. You just get upset.
Why do we all love watching Alabama football games? Because we're secretly hoping somebody pulls the upset on Nick Saban.
And it was so tough last year watching that Tennessee game because I never thought I would ever be in the position of cheering for them. And I found myself just wanting that thing to happen so badly. And they fortunately end up pulling it off. But I can definitely see how Jeff Gordon would be somebody like, man, get this guy out of here. It reminds me of, and this is another wild comparison, but I think about Drake as a rapper, where it's like this dude is clean cut. He's Canadian. He sings.
He's a little sensitive.
He's very sensitive. He sings about being alone in his room, calling his ex-girlfriend. It's like, we don't want this out of rappers. But then, lo and behold, he just keeps making music, and you find yourself like tapping your foot to it. And it's like, oh, I guess this guy's pretty good. And he just kind of stays around. So I understand the heel and the babyface aspect of it for sure.
And it's interesting because now you've got, as he just mentioned, Ross Chastain, who's out there. Again, if you go back and watch that fight, the little kerfuffle.
He did a tremendous move too. I don't know if you go back and analyze it.
You talk about the grabbing of the right arm. He got the punching arm down quick.
Tremendous.
That was a guy who's been in some pit row fights, because I noticed that too. Like, he took his left hand and he was well aware of what Gregson's strong hand was, and he got that left hand down there and locked up the right arm, and then that way he was not taking a right to the jaw, and he had his right still ready to go to pop off there.
If you're going to go confront someone, shouldn't you be the one to throw the first punch? Gregson puts his hand on his chest, and they put up the video on NASCAR's social media page. You can clearly hear Ross Chastain saying, "Better stop. Like, I'm giving you time to correct this for yourself." He didn't stop, kept on pushing, and there came that right hand.
Might be my guy.
It was a very, very, very smooth.
Might be my guy.
803-404-6100. Robert weighs in and says, favorite moment is kind of funny watching Kyle Busch win and do his burnout in front of me and my mother 1 year after getting pulled over for speeding and getting arrested for suspended license. I was unaware while on the way to have breakfast with my mother. So yes, an improvement there in Robert's life. I know Robert's always been a big fan of NASCAR here, and probably very excited for this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. AJ weighs in, tries to point out, says Jeff Gordon from Indiana. Technically, Gordon was born in Vallejo, California. Doesn't tell me when he moved, but it mentions that early on in his life, the Roy Hayer Memorial Racetrack, previously the Cracker Jack track in Rio Linda, California, was noted as the first one he ever competed on. So do you know when he moved to Indiana?
Yeah, so he moved to Indiana when he was a teenager, racing sprint cars, just because the competition level out in California wasn't that great. And if he ever wanted to move up the ranks, he needed to go to the Midwest where there was good competition. So around the age of 12 to 14, he moved to Pittsburgh, Indiana.
There you go. So California boy, but did end up in Indiana. We'll continue talking about this. We'll also get back into, there's a couple text messages that came in on our football discussion. I want to read them to you because, again, I think that's where we're seeing a line drawn a little bit in the sand. It feels like the 7 wins is maybe acceptable by some of the fan base. Others are already saying, no, you got to get to 8. We'll get into that a little bit. AJ Allmendinger set to join us here in about 22 minutes as well. So we got a busy morning as we roll along. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Tyler Head, now stepping in for Jen Jensen, who's off to Darlington to start getting us set up. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. It's bad enough Las Vegans have to deal with Raiders owner Mark Davis. Now they'll have to work with another ne'er-do-well inheritor, John Fisher. The heir to the Gap retail fortune gutted the A's roster to accelerate a move from Oakland to Nevada, where he'll develop a $1.5 billion stadium on the site of the Tropicana, Las Vegas. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors.
Sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, they're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get a Flex 24-volt half-inch drill and driver kit for only $99. What's $179? You save $80. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Not at 320 to 720 while supplies last. U.S. only.
Gotta go to Galliana. Interest rates are going up all over town, but Galliana Chrysler Jeep has rates going down, down, down. Now you can finance new Jeeps at 0% APR at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Or you can buy now and pay later with no payments all summer long. And exclusive of that offer, new Jeeps, savings up to 22% off. Yes, 22% off a new Jeep. Lease a new Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, or Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid and save over $11,000. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition. All trade-ins are welcome. New Jeeps, 22% off, 0% financing, or no payments all summer long. It's Jeep season at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Max savings on renegade stock number 28520 plus tax and tax. Includes $225 closing fee. To qualify buyers, $27.77 per month, 1,000 borrowed for 36 months at 0 APR with 0 down. Dealer rebates up to $400 per month till September. Subject to loan approval. Offers open buying expires not that.
What's up, Gamecock Nation? This is Spencer Rattler here to tell you about the best South Carolina coverage out there at GamecockCentral.com. For a limited time, you can become a member and get access to all USC sports and recruiting information you want for a special deal. Head over to GamecockCentral.com now to become an insider and join the family.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town in our store and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey everybody, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. Around the region early on, there's not been anything with major backups or confirmed collisions causing problems on heavily traveled roadways and your interstates. But as we keep on into this Thursday, make sure again you keep checking back, might be pertinent to your travels. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a great day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by AJ Allmendinger. Get his take on Darlington, on growing up racing. One thing I'm kind of saying, I got a real good friend out in Lexington, Mike Dukes, who has his son heavily into dirt bike racing, BMX type racing. Great father. I didn't realize, I coach Austin in basketball and soccer. My buddy who does this, Mike, he is the mechanic for his son. He's got the trailer. He does everything. I can't imagine doing that. There's nothing like that. Like, we go to a soccer match, I just have to make sure Austin's got his cleats and his shin guards. When my buddy Mike goes and does this, he's got to make sure all the tools are there to fix the bike. Like, that's not an area that I could do. But I'm seeing a lot of these guys. Have you seen this? Is this kind of seem to be the setup, Tyler, that a lot of these guys, this is how they started at an early age, is bike racing?
Oh, yeah. And some of them, that's your path. As long as you're racing something, that's a foot in the door to eventually end up in NASCAR. If that's what you want to do. Clint Boyer, who's one of the analysts on Fox now, that's how he started, was racing dirt bikes out in Kansas, and eventually got himself into late models and stuff like that to go to the NASCAR path. But that's one way to get yourself started.
You ever done dirt bike, Preston? Dirt
0%.
Have you ever been on a four-wheeler? Like, what's the closest we got for you here?
Racing bikes.
Bicycles.
We tried to create a dirt bike track in one of my friend's backyard. When we figured out how much dirt we actually needed to make the hump, we had grand plans. And
the sketches looked great.
Yes.
The facility was incredible. Concessions were going to be top notch.
We had the whole thing mapped out. We first figured out we didn't have enough space, and then we didn't have enough dirt to act. So it was more like a hump as opposed to a ramp. Didn't turn out well. So that's my extent of dirt bike racing.
We'll catch up with AJ Allmendinger about that coming up here in about 13 minutes.
I hadn't thought about that in a while. Yeah, we failed. It was major failure.
Yeah, the concession stands were set. You even had a VIP suite somewhere in your friend's parents' bedroom. It was going to just be perfect.
Yeah, it did work out well.
We've been talking a little bit this morning, starting to get into expectations for South Carolina football, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a polarizing summer as we move away from what is the actual newsy content. Maybe Shane Beamer says something at a welcome home tour or something where we can really sink our teeth in. Right now, it's more of all speculation and what we think is realistic. Coach Mack weighs in this morning. This came in. This was the top of last hour, the end of last hour, and I wanted to. He said, "Sounds like we're making excuses. Anything less than 8 games this year is a failure, especially with an experienced quarterback. We'll see how player development is taking shape under this staff." Let me fast forward to another text message that came in from Steve. So we have the toughest schedule in all of college football this season. We are 3 seasons removed from arguably the worst season of this millennium. We've grossly overachieved in Beamer's first 2 seasons. It's only logical to expect a return to reality this year. With our schedule, I think 7 wins is a positive. 6 would not be surprising. Anything over is house money. So you see the two, it's interesting where we're going with some of this in terms of the early just May expectations for this football team, where I think you're going to have some be like Coach there who texts in and says, you won 8 last year, upward trajectory has to continue. You got some guys back, it's got to keep moving. You got some like, I think Steve, who's saying, look, schedule's tough, program's still being built. As long as we're going to bowl right now, we're continuing forward momentum.
I keep coming to these 2 phrases. Either you feel like it's time or needs more time. And I don't know where you're going to fall in. Coach Mack seems to fall into the idea of it's time. We made big progressions, whether it was through hook or crook, overachieving, whatever you want to call it. But now we're here, and it's time to keep that thing moving forward. Some folks are slow that down a little bit. Maybe we're going to fall back to earth, as we said. I'm not sure where I fall on that continuum quite yet. I have to think about that a little bit more as far as where I personally believe the team would be.
Marshall weighs in and says we went into last year saying the record might not reflect it, but we could very likely be a better team. I don't know if that statement can be used this year, because in the grand scheme of things, and if we're being completely honest with ourselves, I don't know how good last year's team was.
That is what's so confounding. We don't really know what was. We don't know what happened. I do know this. They were bad to average for a long stretch of last year. And then they were incredible to amazing for the last 2 games of the year. What does that mean? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Is it a point where, as we sit here, what you just said, we don't know enough about this team or coaching staff or whatever it is that we try to, here's the thing for me in year 3, and this is not, I'm not in any way, and I will say this many times over the summer, I think it is a massive year for Shane Beamer, but I don't think it's a make or break year.
It's not that. It's not that.
Here's why I say it's massive, because Shane Beamer has turned attention towards South Carolina. Look at the way they're recruiting. And this is one of those years where you don't have to win 10 games. You don't have to win the East. You don't have to have a huge splashy bowl game. But I feel like recruiting, you've got certain guys out there that are really taking notice of your program. And they're seeing the positive takes by guys like Josh Pate of 24/7 Sports. The national media is talking about it. There are positive things about Shane Beamer. It's hard. It's really hard not to get caught up, unless you're probably a Clemson fan, in the enthusiasm of Shane Beamer, to see the way he promotes his program, the culture he's built. But Preston, you know this, and I know one game does not make for a recruit's opinion, because if it did, remember, Nicholas Harbor visited for the Georgia game.
Yeah.
So if you were those people like, oh man, that kid visited and we got blown out by 70. No, that's not always how it works. But I do feel like what's happened here is Shane Beamer's on the cusp of turning this thing into something bigger. And that's the one thing I wonder is you go 6-6, you lose a lot of that momentum, because you can go 6-6 and you can pick up wins over Furman, over Jacksonville State, over Vanderbilt. I don't know what Mississippi State's going to be this year. Maybe you win, you beat North Carolina. We don't know. Florida again is projected 5.5. And if you win those 6, you go, okay, 6-6, and you end up maybe in the Gasparilla Bowl, maybe in the Birmingham Bowl. I think that's what it is for me, is that there is an element that this year is the one that really could propel South Carolina on to bigger and better things. Because if you win and you land a top 10 recruiting class, and again, they're off to a great start, they've got big names involved, it's kind of that moment where things maybe swing toward the upside.
Yeah, it is. And it 100% is. And I know a lot of people will say, well, when you look at Coach Spurrier's tenure, there were some 6-win seasons, some 7-win seasons before things bursted. But this is not then. This is a new time. The timeline is sped up. Unfortunately, Shane may have spoiled us with getting this last couple of years. And so people have expectations of where they see the potential for this program to go. And now that Coach Mack has said that, I don't know if I'm not leaning more in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, Tim in Charleston sends in on the Firehouse Subs the text line a great question. Let me ask you. He says, I believe the phrase, we don't know enough about this team, is going to be the most commonly used phrase every year going forward because of the transfer portal and the volatility of rosters.
Very true. That's a very true. Good point. Was that Tim?
Tim. Mm-hmm.
Good point, Tim. Thank you for listening and contributing. That's a great point. My counter or my however or comma, we will probably not ever know a lot about teams moving into seasons moving forward. But what we do know about this team is they have the most important piece, which is a quarterback. And I think every other question can be answered. But if you don't have that position solved, then you probably have zero chance. This team does have that. He has a weapon, a very good one. So we don't know everything about the whole roster, but we do have the most important piece.
I think Matt sums it up pretty well, and good way to wrap up this segment. He says, I think we can all agree this is an exciting time to be a Gamecock fan. Just the possibility of being a nationally relevant football team is a breath of fresh air.
Do not ever let that go, because if you're listening, you remember that feeling of walking into the stadium during the previous coach's regime and just feeling like, I'm just here out of obligation. The feeling you felt after App State, there was a sense of hopelessness. And now to actually be in conversations, to be excited about the year coming up is at least as much as important as anything else.
803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in. Up next, AJ Allmendinger joins us. Tyler, we're going to need you to step up on this interview. You kind of going to have to support Preston and I, because we could go down a bad path very quickly.
It could go very far.
So, we'll lean on you a little bit here. 803-404-6100 is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
We appreciate you listening to 107.5 The Game. And because you are a loyal listener, you might have noticed the last few weeks that the game hasn't sounded as strong coming through your speakers. Or you all of a sudden can't pick up the station in certain places around the Midlands. Well, a few weeks ago, our main transmitter was damaged during a storm. It'll still be a few more weeks until we get the parts to have it fixed. So, if you are having issues listening to 107.5 The Game, we encourage you to go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and download our app. In a couple of clicks, you'll be hearing the game loud and clear. Thanks again for your patience and for listening to 107.5 The Game.
Give Mom a timeout this Mother's Day at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Buy a Mother's Day spa package and get a free facial gift card. Mom deserves to restore, relax, and reset. Visit any of their Columbia area Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa locations or search for the location near you to view their exclusive online offers. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. Give Mom a timeout at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Waper Incorporated on Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia provide great service and top-of-the-line equipment. Skip Skipper and Jay Coleman at Waper Incorporated invite you to join in their 50th anniversary celebration, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Waper's top-of-the-line vendors will be on site to show you the top-of-the-line products that Waper offers. And while you're there, enjoy some of South Carolina's best barbecue and register for door prizes. Join Waper on Thursday, May 18th for the 50th anniversary celebration from 10 to 3.
Carolina Honda Powerhouse is your local Honda Power Sports Superstore, and we have 2023 Honda ATVs arriving daily. When you choose a Honda ATV, you know you're riding one of the most responsive, powerful, and durable ATVs on the market today, made right here in South Carolina. Honda Ranchers, Rubicons, Foremans, and Recons in stock and ready to ride. On-road or off-road, all roads lead to Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Just take exit 70 off I-20 and turn by the Flying J, or visit CarolinaHonda.com. Honda recommends utility ATVs for riders 16 years or older and recommends that all riders take a training course.
Spring is here. Time to get those spring projects started. But before you stick that shovel in the ground, remember to always call or click SC 811 before you dig. South Carolina 811 is a call before you dig service that you can use to have your underground utilities marked at no cost to you. Simply call 811 or visit sc811.com and submit a locate request. Wait 3 full business days, excluding weekends and holidays. After that, you're free to dig. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig. Sponsored by South Carolina 811, SCBA, and this station.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $16. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but costs as low as $3 per dose? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at just $3 per dose. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but only $3 per dose. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, But those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
If you've seen them, you need to call me. Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. If you're seeing weeds in your yard, let Midlands Landscape help you get rid of them. When you sign up for our Midlands Green Treatment Program, our lawn experts will give your turf the fertilization it needs while conquering the weeds, ensuring that your lawn will be green and lush. So give us a try. Midlands Landscape and Lawns. Schedule an appointment today at hateweeds.com. That's hateweeds.com.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections. South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey everyone, I hope that Thursday is treating you well. It's time for another First Alert traffic update for your morning. As we see right now, I-20 eastbound, a crash has been reported before exit 63 to SC 273 Bush River Road. Again, I-20 eastbound, a crash being reported before exit 63, causing some slowdowns this morning. Left lane currently closed. Thanks again for listening for your WIS First Alert traffic update. Please be safe out there. I am meteorologist Tony Chiavaroli.
What we're talking about on 1075 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
8:31 on a Thursday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Tyler Head, as we get you up, get you going. Jen off to Darlington, as we will be down there bright and early, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, broadcasting live from the track. Looking forward to it. Again, an event that the state of South Carolina, very important too. It's something that just a couple years ago, we got the sporting world back on their feet with hosting, really, I think it was the first sporting event. Tyler, am I wrong on that? First sporting event post-COVID when Darlington kicked everything off. And this coming weekend, another great time down there in the track that's too tough to tame. Joining us now, a man who knows a few things about that, NASCAR driver AJ Allmendinger. AJ, welcome in this morning. Glad you could take time out trying to prepare and get ready to probably answer some questions that have nothing to do with NASCAR.
Well, it's my pleasure, and sometimes we get asked so many questions about NASCAR. Sometimes that's a good thing.
The first major, when you come on this program, the first major question that we have to know is your stance on the breakfast food bacon and how it is best prepared. And we'll go ahead and forewarn you, if you say the microwave, if you prepare your bacon in the microwave, it could be the end of the interview.
No, it's a full pan. You got to use a pan for bacon. You got to use that crackle.
Okay, good. I was afraid that it was going to be the quickest interview that we ever had here, but it works perfectly. Let's do the serious stuff kind of first, though. But just talk about the excitement coming back this weekend, getting ready for Darlington, and your overall memories of Darlington through the years.
Yeah, so I'm, my background in a past life, I used to drive open wheel race cars, and I'd watched Darlington for so many years in NASCAR and had obviously heard everybody talk about it and what it was. I remember driving in the place the first time, and I thought, did they mess up designing this racetrack? I was like, this is the most oddly shaped racetrack I've ever seen in my life. And then trying to drive on it for the first time was quite insane. It is tough. I mean, the name doesn't do it justice. It is too tough to tame is probably the easiest thing you can say about it. It is a challenge. Both ends of the racetrack are unique in the way you run them, and it's super fast. It's really narrow. And then if you look at like the weather this weekend, it's going to be hot, so we're going to be sliding around too. So it's just a challenge. You're racing the racetrack all day, but there's 38 of us out there, and tempers flare sometimes and things like that. But it is a fun racetrack, but it is also just a challenge every lap of the race out there.
And AJ, this is the first time you'll be running the Cup race since you last ran full-time back in 2018. And track wasn't too kind to you your first time around in the Cup Series, but you had 2 top 10s, including a 3rd place last year in the Xfinity Series. What's your confidence level returning to the Cup Series at Darlington this weekend?
Yeah, this is Darlington's always been a racetrack that, just trying to get a rhythm at times had struggled on. Just trying to figure it out. I do feel like running the Xfinity races over the last couple of years with Kaulig Racing, at least 2 of them we had a real good shot to win the race. So it's at least allowed me to have a little bit of confidence going in the racetrack of knowing, okay, this is kind of how I need to drive it. These new generation Cup cars, they're a lot different. They're shifting now around it. So that's something that I didn't have to worry about last time in Cup there. So they definitely drive a lot different, but just kind of have an understanding of the racetrack. That's for a driver, to me, that is the easiest thing to have is just confidence when it comes to driving a racetrack. We all have confidence at certain racetracks, and others aren't our best racetrack. And I'll fully admit that Darlington in my past haven't been one of my best racetracks, but definitely over the last couple of years in the Xfinity Series, it's given me confidence, and hopefully we can just kind of unload really close and just kind of build on from there.
AJ, what's going on, man? This is Preston. I am a civilian driver. And my question for you is, what is your tolerance for us as you have to get around on a day-to-day basis? If you see me hanging out in the left lane, just sort of cruising along in my Toyota Camry, what's your tolerance
right
for
there?
us?
That move, if you're that guy, like you've probably seen me flip you off at some point driving by. Like there's no reason to get in the left lane just to chill. Like that's not what it's there for. It's there for passing. So that's just have some awareness, and that's all I ask. Like we understand sometimes, like all right, it's traffic, but don't be just singing Taylor Swift running 60 in the left lane like life is good as we're all stacked behind you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Just all right. The other question I'll ask it for Preston then was, what is your tolerance level? I'm assuming you take your car to have the oil changed. I'm assuming you do that. What is your tolerance level for wait time for that, or what does AJ Allmendinger do while having to wait, just like the rest of us out there, for the oil or the tires to be changed?
Yeah, you're having a service done, right? Like you can't. I try to be patient about that because if I really wanted to do it, I could do it myself, but I don't want to, and that's why I'm taking it there. So, my tolerance is actually pretty high on that because I could do it, I just don't want to do it. So, I'm going to allow the people doing the work to do their job, really.
Let's all right, we'll go back to the series for a second. In my personal belief, I think NASCAR has done a better job recently of promoting, of getting things back out. There was certainly a time there it seemed to be dipping and the interest in NASCAR was waning. You've been around the track now for a little over 15 years. How do you see the sport being promoted? Through television deals, through opportunities? How do you see this sport really getting out there and kind of making a comeback in a way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we could probably we live in 15 years ago, the time that we lived in was completely different when it comes to the social media side of it. Our attention spans, even things to do. Over the last 10, 15 years, we've all seen how much the world has changed in that sense. So, I think for a while, NASCAR, you didn't even have to promote it. You just knew what was going on every week. And the way to watch it was watch it on television or you listen to it on the radio. Now with all the streaming devices and things like that, and heck, even DVRs and just, recording everything that goes along with that, we have to do a better job promoting of what is happening every weekend. And I think NASCAR, you're right. There was probably a span of 5 to 10 years where we probably weren't very good about it. And I feel like now we've got to the other side of it where we're promoting it a lot and things like that. So, we just have to keep changing with the times, just like every other sport and every other business, really.
AJ, one thing I'm always intrigued about is the physicality of the sport. How how do you prepare for a race or the season, and what toll does it take on your body throughout the course of a season?
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest thing is there's definitely racetracks that are physically demanding. I think Darlington is probably one of the toughest racetracks we have in the sense of physically and mentally demanding. You know, you got to run against the wall for 3.5 hours. That's the fast line, is right up against the fence. I mean, that takes a toll mentally. Physically, it's a bumpy racetrack. It's pretty quick. So there's a lot of G's on your neck and your body. So it's a good challenge of mental and physical. There's certain races that aren't as physically challenging, but during the summer months, and Kansas started this last week and Darlington this week, and we're just going to carry through the summer months. A lot of it's the heat. Inside the race car, it'll be 150 degrees this weekend. And we'll be in it for 3.5 hours. So a lot of it has to do with your hydration leading up to it, and then trying to get rehydrated right away after the race, to just not let your body fall behind.
AJ, I'll ask you 2 questions off of that. We know the heat was a big problem in the next-gen cars last year. You mentioned last weekend at Kansas was a very hot day. How much better has the heat improved in these cars in its second year running it? And on the more funner side of things, should you or your teammate Justin Haley win this weekend, what is Chris Rice's celebration going to look like, and will he be taking his shirt off?
Well, it'll be 95 degrees, so Chris Rice will definitely take his shirt off. And I'm not really sure why he started that, and I really wish he hadn't. Yeah, I don't even know how to go. I forget what, I think it was Talladega last year. I won the Xfinity race, and I turned around and his shirt was off, and I was just like, what are we doing? And then he did it again at the Roval. I thought, okay, it's hot at Talladega. Then at the Roval, he did it, and it was not that hot. And I told him I was going to purposely stop winning just so he didn't take his shirt off anymore. We didn't need to see that. So he will take his shirt off for sure. And heck, it's a cup race at Darlington. If I might take my shirt off too at that point, to win Darlington in the Cup Series.
We're going to hold you to that.
So, yeah, I'm all for it. Winning at Darlington would be really special. And I don't even know what your first. I lost on your first question because I just got locked in and having to talk about Chris Rice's shirt off.
The only other thing I asked was how much the heat inside the cars improved on the next.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
the cars have gotten better. They're still hot for sure, but they've gotten a lot better. When I first tested the car, I think it was 50 degrees, and I was dying after 4 laps in the car. So they've done a lot to help cool the cars. We're consciously trying to work on it to get better. Cool shirts and helmet blowers and things like that for the drivers are really critical during the summer months. So it's always a work in progress to make it better, but it's definitely a lot better than it used to be.
AJ Allmendinger joining us, just another minute or two with him. So we got to get the serious questions in here. Before we do these interviews, they send me information on you and some background stuff. And there's all these great statistics, how you've won all road courses, except, as it says, has won all road courses in the Xfinity Series in 2022, except Watkins Glen. You won at the Roval every year since starting in 2019. They send all these great facts. And then I'm trying to read here, and I understand you have a French bulldog named Xena, but I'm more interested in the cat, Mr. Tickles. Is Mr. Tickles? Are you a dog or a cat person?
Well, I'm gonna make this interview really sad. Mr. Tickles died after Daytona.
Oh,
thanks, Bill.
You gotta update the information that gets sent.
Thanks, Bill.
So that was a sad loss for sure. He would fly with us to the racetrack, and we landed on the way home, he had a seizure and passed away.
Oh, no.
And that was a sad day. But Mr. Tickles is, and we all, if you're an animal lover, right? Animals don't stay around long enough in our lives. We love our animals. We've had our French bulldog. We call her the pandemic dog. We were bored and got a dog. And she's amazing. And her and Mr. Tickles were best friends. We had rescued him out from under a dumpster back in 2015. And the next day, we had to fly to a race, and I'm like, my wife was like, what are we going to do with him? I'm like, there's got to be cat bags, right? We packed him up a little cat backpack, and he was on the plane at 6 weeks old. So, so that was a sad loss. So sorry to make this interview very sad.
I hate to hear that, but no, we joke about that. So you're okay. Either one, dogs, cats, you guys animal lovers?
I was always a dog person, but Mr. Tickles, he made me a cat believer. So I had a shirt. Well, my wife had a lot of Mr. Tickles shirts made, and she actually created, because fans, we'd put them on social media, and fans loved this cat. So recently, she just started a merchandise side of Mr. Tickles hats and shirts.
Mr. Tickles lives on.
Yeah. So, I just love animals. They make everything better.
Well, I was going to say, it makes sense you be a cat person because your hometown in California literally translates to the cat.
The cats, yeah. Los gatos.
Have you, real quick, I was reading also this in your bio. It's always interesting when athletes step into, like Preston played football at South Carolina. He's done so well with his life. He has to work next to me every morning from 6 to 9. But you've got into the television sector a little bit. You do some with NASCAR Race Hub, serving as an analyst. You've done a few other things. What is it like for you now when you get away from the track and you analyze races? How well do you handle it? How much do you enjoy it?
Yeah, that was a side of it, back in 2018, like you said, when I stopped cup racing, I thought that was kind of the next step of my life. This is almost like a next chapter of all these Xfinity and cup races now that I'm dealing with college racing. So I went to the TV side of it. As you said, for Fox Sports, I had done Race Hub shows. And then I got signed by NBC Sports, and I was able to do a lot of different types of races. And I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun sitting on that side of it. And that was something that whenever I tried once, but whenever I decide I'm done racing, I'd love to go back to that side of it. It's really enjoyable. I'm just a huge motorsports fan and love racing. So being able to call motorsports races for a living was really enjoyable, and definitely would do it again.
AJ, man, we appreciate it this morning. You got a lot you're getting prepared to. You'll be driving the number 16 car down there, the Black's Tire and Wheel Distributors blue and white, beautiful paint scheme. That's one thing, man. This throwback weekend, absolutely phenomenal, and you've got a beautiful car there this year. We look forward to following you this coming weekend, and thank you for taking time out this morning to join us. Hopefully, we weren't too silly for you.
Oh, it was fantastic, guys, and bring your sunscreen. It's going to be hot this weekend.
Well, we'll be down there bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., so maybe we'll be able to catch up with you in the pits or something.
Definitely. Come say hi. I look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
AJ Allmendinger there joining us. A lot of fun. Interesting interview with him. Glad he's a bacon guy.
Yes.
Dog cats. He's all good with that. And you heard him. Don't get in the left lane and sing Taylor Swift and just hang out. Very good. Very good.
I was going to tell AJ, if you see a Toyota Camry just hanging on the left lane, it might be me.
Just cruising down. 803-404-6100. We'll wrap up the Thursday morning episode when we return. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game? You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Keeping the house clean when you're having big parties, whether it's a watch party for the big race this weekend or you're having a party for mom, having a nice clean house for Mother's Day. That's actually pretty important. It'll show mom she taught you a thing or two. Contact Zero Res today, 803-262-4020. Go ahead and schedule that appointment to have them come out with their patented ZR water technology, scientifically proven to keep your carpets, your rugs, your tile, your upholstery all insanely clean and keep it cleaner longer. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. Again, 803-262-4020, or you can schedule online, zerorescolumbia.com. Again, Mother's Day is this weekend. Maybe you're having all of the family over. You want to make that phone call today and get that appointment lined up for tomorrow. 803-262-4020, or again, you can schedule online, zerorescolumbia.com. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $129. Zero, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. In the morning, Taco Bell keeps it toned down and simple, like the breakfast crunch wrap with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just delicious. Taco Bell breakfast, served until 11 a.m.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits, like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Craft beer lovers, your day has arrived. The best breweries have teamed up with us to offer the Craft Beer Passport, your key to enjoying the finest craft beers at an incredibly affordable price. For just $99, you can enjoy 2 craft beers at 19 establishments, like Steel Hands, Doko Station, and Hazelwood. A $285 value for just $99. The Craft Beer Passport, on sale now at 1075thegame.com. Craft beer lovers, get yours now.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey everyone, I hope that Thursday is treating you well. It's time for another First Alert traffic update for your morning. As we see right now, I-20 eastbound, a crash has been reported before exit 63 to SC 273 Bush River Road. Again, I-20 eastbound, a crash being reported before exit 63, causing some slowdowns this morning. Left lane currently closed. Thanks again for listening for your WIS First Alert traffic update. Please be safe out there. I am meteorologist Tony Chivaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
with Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game.
$8:53 on a beautiful Thursday morning as we get you set. Tyler, and you got Colin. Who's with you this morning there, Tyler? What you got planned after this?
Colin joining me over the phone for a couple segments this morning. He does have other things he has to do during the week, so we don't keep him in here more than we need to, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. But we'll get you ready. We will all be down in Darlington tomorrow morning. Preston, myself, Jen will be there bright and early. Tyler will be there. We'll have the whole team get ready for what should be a fun week. Again, you look at this event, and I'm not, we joke about it. I've become more involved in NASCAR by doing this show and with Jen and with Carrie Tharp and everything over the last 4 or 5 years. Got to the point now that I'll actually kind of know when the race is on Sunday and include it in the televisions. But it is an event, Preston, that certainly I think our state takes a lot of pride in. I know Kerry Tharp certainly very excited about it. It'll get going tomorrow night, 7:30. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. And you were asking about races all weekend. Saturday, you've got the Shriners Children's 200 NASCAR Xfinity Series race, and then of course on Sunday at 3:00, the Goodyear 400 NASCAR Series. We'll see if we end up in a car tomorrow. That could be. I meant like at the race, not to get down there. We're taking a car to get there, but we'll see how that kind of sets up for us.
We'll see. I'll be looking forward to it. I've done that one time before at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, which was tremendous, and so that'd be really cool to do it.
It again should be a lot of fun. We'll have a variety of guests on tomorrow as we'll kick off the weekend down there. It's a really great weekend. According to some of the releases that we got, there will never be so many of NASCAR's greatest gathered in one place than during Throwback Weekend here at Darlington. Fans will have the opportunity to meet and see many of them throughout the weekend at the NASCAR Experience, Goodyear Legends display, and during pre-race ceremonies. So, again, just for the state, we talk about the heritage. I know the Masters, obviously, I'm wearing all my Masters stuff today, by the way, is all in Augusta, Quail Hollows, and Charlotte. But another national event for the state of South Carolina that draws in a lot of tourists, draws in a lot of attention, and we get to be there first and foremost in the morning.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than going to an event. I'm a strong proponent of being in the arena when things are happening, so I'm really excited about this. Even though we will be leaving very early or late, depending on your perspective.
It will be early, very early.
4 o'clock is early.
Yeah, we will, but we'll be there. Tyler, thank you for stepping in. How did we do? You had to fill in for Jen for that interview, and how did we do with the interview? I thought we handled it fairly well.
I thought you did great. He had fun with it.
He did. Don't drive slowly in the left lane. AJ Allmendinger might not punch you, but apparently you will get the middle finger from him. And
but here's the problem, Bill. Most of y'all are not AJ, so you don't have the right to do that.
Yeah,
you think you're AJ when you're driving, but you're not.
So we will we'll get you ready. First thing in the morning, Tyler and Colin next, Terry and Jay this afternoon. Heath Klein will wrap us all up. Y'all have a great day.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
What's up, y'all? This Gamecocks wide receiver Juice Wells. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Breathe easier in your home with Zerorez Air Duct Cleaning. It's the only company I trust to get my home insanely clean. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get $30 off your next air duct. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Steven, I'll leave that. That was the final thing. Steven is not in on Shane Beamer. We were all in on Wild Heart Brewery. We'll check that out. Y'all have a great rest of the day, and we'll hopefully see you. We'll be on the air. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the live stream up. I don't know how. I have an idea for how to do the live stream tomorrow. I got an idea how to do that, so we make it work. Y'all have a great day.